Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Landy Lodge, where today we are discussing, analyzing, breaking down, theorizing all things Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and its ending, which has been the focus point of a lot of discussion when it comes to this game, which has been received very positively. However, there again is a lot of discussion and some contention around that ending, and we're going to get into all that and more today. So let's thank the beautiful, the amazing Sages of the Lodge, these wonderful names you see on your screen, or those who are YouTube channel members, donate directly, or are longtime Twitch subs. But as I always say, guys, all I ask is that you're here to hang out. Everything else after that is a bonus. Now, with that said, we are going to pick it up pretty much about 3/4 the way through Chapter 13. Okay, I see that YouTube's not coming through on the chat, so I'll take care of that real quick. Get that fixed up. But anyway, we're going to pick it up from about 3/4 the way into Chapter 13. Just because I think that's where the narrative really takes off. And because one of the things about the ending, and obviously this is by design, and I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I think it's a matter of preference. But in the last about hour and a half worth of cutscenes, they completely bombard you with information, lore, all of it, basically. The player gets bombarded because the intention is to not necessarily confuse you, but to engage you with so much that it leaves us with a lot to talk about. Okay, good. I see I got the YouTube chat working up here. YouTube chat in mind. Let's give a shout out to some of the early birds we have in here. I see Zane98 is back. Zebulon, Hyrule Falcone, TV40, me, you, Josh Z, Sage of the Lodge, Dex Holder Red. Everybody's in here. I love it. We got a lot of lodge regulars. We know what it is you order when you cozy up at the lodge. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna get us started here in Chapter 13. What I am gonna ask, guys, is right off the bat, if you could just let me know how the volumes are, if I should turn the game's volume up or turn it down. Again, we have about an hour and a half of cutscenes to go through. We are going to watch the majority of them and really break it down and analyze it as we go. Usually when I do these, a lot of the times I'll pull out the scenes that I want to talk about and break it down that way. But what I found with a lot of podcasts is that it's actually better to just go over as much of it as possible because, repeated exposure, you pick up on things you missed before, and maybe there's something I missed the first 3 times I watched all these scenes, but I'll see it on my 4th time. So of the hour and a half, we're probably going to watch about an hour. I want to maybe wrap this whole thing up within 2 to 3 hours. I'd like to cover the entire ending in this one episode. So I'm giving myself a good 2 or 3 hours here. I think we're going to get through it. Chat, I usually open it up after the 1 hour mark. I'm going to leave it pretty much open to you guys pretty much throughout this whole thing. I would love to get your thoughts kind of as we go. But without further ado, I suppose I should let this roll. This footage is coming to us courtesy of Gamers Prey over on YouTube, who put this up. And yeah, without further ado, let's break this down and analyze it. I have a lot to say, by the way. I have an interpretation of what this all means that isn't conventional, to say the least. I talked about a little bit on my last FF7 episode where I reviewed the game in its entirety. But just as a heads up, I don't believe what's happening here is a multiverse thing. I don't even think what we have is technically multiple timelines. And then there's everything with Aerith, which I'm going to love to get into. So the big juice of it is going to come towards the end of today's episode. But in order to really tackle a lot of what happens in the finale of this game, we have to touch on the stuff that leads up to it. So let's get into it. Connor Donahue, good to see. Do you believe it's multiple realities at all? Multiple realities is a different story. Timelines and multiverse, they mean something very specific. Reality is a little bit more broad. So I do think you could chalk this up to multiple realities, but I don't think it's multiple timelines or multiple universes. And I will get into that. But again, that's going to come at the second half of the episode. Let's get into all the stuff that leads us into it, because I think a lot of the answers can be found in the buildup. A lot of this was set up, but let's get into this. Enough of me giving you all the ear beating. Let's get into it. Let me know how the volumes are, if I should turn the game up or turn it down. All right, here we go.
Gramps would kill to see this.
So again, they're here at the Temple of the Ancients right now. And this is right before, again, just so to remind some of you guys where we're at right now, this is right before the sort of Cetra holograms pop up and let us know what their whole deal is, especially with the black materia. And then we get to the point where Cloud discovers or gets a hold of the black materia, and things really do ramp up from there. So let's get into it. She's one of the Cetra. She can call it forth. It's self-explanatory there. How's that volume, guys? Should it come down? So here they are kind of showing us an insight to what occurred all those years ago. Volumes are good so far. It's what I like to hear. So we got the ghee and the Cetra. And just as a recap, because this came a little bit before that, keep the ghee in mind, guys. There's also something else I want everyone to keep in mind. A big part of the finale here and everything that takes place is about those who accept the inevitability of death and those who deny and defy the inevitability of death. So keep that in mind. The ghee are a prime example thematically of that taking place in this story. It's one of the reasons why I think they were given such a big role towards the end of this game, because the ghee can't die, right? Yet they long for it, which kind of separates them from Sephiroth, who's sort of pursuing immortality, and the people in our party who have accepted death as a part of life, as a consequence of living. But let's keep it going. Yo, what's up, Lance?
For dusk is falling on the age of our people, the Cetra.
So what this seems like to me is obviously the Cetra were an advanced civilization, and they set this up under the idea that somebody would eventually discover this place. Whether or not they knew it would be Aerith and the party, I don't know. But I'm certain they were confident a Cetra descendant might stumble upon it. So let's keep it going. They obviously recorded this towards the end of their time.
And in the long night to come, others shall rise to claim stewardship of this planet.
This is
Others
oh,
who pay no heed to history.
that's obviously in reference to the humans. Showing us the way. Also, the Cetra lore was amazing. I thought it was one of the best parts of this game, honestly. And I think, I also want to say, them painting the Cetra in a more moral, ambiguous light, I also thought was a very, very nice touch. So again, here they're talking about the black materia. So foul was the orb's magic that we knew at once it must be hidden, that none might ever wield its terrible power. So I think they understood that even though they could hide this black materia away, that somebody was going to come looking for it. You know, Zane, I'm glad you brought this up. Zane in the chat says the ghee, their relationship with the ghee was interesting. They're basically aliens that can't return to a planet that they're not from. Exactly. So they long for the kind of death that the Cetra and the humans, those who are of the planet whose flesh they shape, they were envious that they had this Lifestream, this afterlife that they could be granted, that the ghee were denied. Now, who does that make the ghee similar to? Genova. Genova is also an alien that will not be accepted by the Lifestream in the same way the ghee have. So what is Genova's solution for this is to infect the Lifestream in much the same way she infected the Cetra, infected Shinra, infected Cloud, and so on and so forth. That said, keep it rolling.
The black materia
Pretty self-explanatory there.
The meteor shall fall, sundering the skies and shattering the earth. All life shall perish.
Yet I shall remain.
Okay. Yet I shall remain. So what's interesting about that, right? Obviously the Cetra were kind of doing a pre-recorded performance there. Sephiroth clearly was watching and waiting for his entrance. So I just want to say shout out to Genesis and his theatrics. But with that said, obviously you see what the point there is. The black materia would bring end to all life, thus giving Sephiroth and Jenova sort of a monopoly on the living. They would be that last living thing, and in much the way we saw Sephiroth absorb the whispers, I am certain Jenova / Sephiroth have a similar agenda with absorbing the Lifestream, all of life, the planet, as they say. How many times did he rehearse this? You know he rehearsed it in the mirror. You know it. Keep it rolling.
I, son of Jenova, will at last claim my birthright.
So there you have it. I, son of Jenova, will at last claim my birthright. Now, the promised land, right? Everyone, in a sense, not everyone, but a lot of these characters are, even if they don't know it, pursuing what they believe to be the promised land. And, you know, our man Sephiroth is no difference here. Let's keep that going.
My dominion shall reach into infinity. It shall encompass worlds unbound by fate and histories unwritten.
So, it shall encompass worlds unbound by fate and histories unwritten. Keep that in mind, because a lot of those worlds appeared as a consequence of being unbound from fate. So obviously everything that's happening here with these other worlds popping up is obviously a part of what Sephiroth is going for. That's one thing to remember too. A lot of what we're going to see transpire here is what Sephiroth wants to happen. So listen to what he's saying. I really believe Sephiroth gives it all away. He speaks very cryptically, you know, but he's not exactly being ambiguous. Let's keep it going.
What do you mean?
My fragmented mother, these errant worlds, all shall be one again.
My fragmented mother, these errant worlds, all shall be one again. This is what I mean by he's giving it all away. He's giving it all away. So as a consequence of fate, these other worlds, which we're going to get into, we're going to get into the nature of them, what they are, but these errant worlds, which is another way of saying disordinate or disorderly or not natural and like inappropriate, you pick your word. So my fragmented mother, these errant worlds. There's a reason he's using those two back to back. Now hear me out. When he says my fragmented mother, he's obviously talking about Jenova, right? The head is in one building, the torso's in another. Jenova's parts have been fragmented and scattered across Gaia. So in much the way, and remember guys, you have to perceive this as Jenova versus the planet. Sephiroth is a stand-in for Jenova. Aerith is a stand-in for the planet. Keep that kind of mental image in mind. So when he says my fragmented mother being Jenova and the way that she is scattered, they've gone ahead and done the same thing to the planet. The same way Jenova was scattered into several different pieces, now Sephiroth and Jenova have effectively done that to the planet by scattering it into a bunch of different fragments. The Jenova and the planet are essentially kind of not mimicking one another, but you're seeing the same patterns kind of play out between the two. Now let's keep it going. We're definitely going to come back to that.
The reunion.
The reunion.
All made whole forever.
There's no such thing as forever.
Okay, you guys seeing this start to play out? Like I said to you, on one side, the Sephiroth Jenova side, you have this denial of death, this pursuit of immortality, this pursuit of infinity, to defy and deny death outright. And like, again, life and death, very big themes in Final Fantasy VII. They have not gone away. Some people were scared they went away. In my opinion, they were ramped up. This is an example of the thing, of such an example of that. Sephiroth and Jenova pursuing immortality, pursuing infinity. You know, Aerith And those on her side, on the other end, acknowledge there's no such thing as forever. All must come to an end, whether it be life, whether it be the planet. Like, everything has an end. There is no forever. They believe in that. Now, watch Cloud. Sephiroth and Jenova can win over Cloud if they can convince him to defy and deny death. Keep that in mind. Accepting death, denying death. Keep it going. But there will be.
But there will be.
He's giving it away.
No. You're wrong.
Your day of reckoning is here.
And I think here he just summons the demon.
You need not be afraid.
Yeah, I think he summons the demon boss.
Get back here, damn it!
All right. Let me move this forward a little bit. Perfect. Right here. Right here.
Still alive! No homecoming for us today.
As if we were ever gonna lose, we're unstoppable!
See, now the two of them finally getting along. Now, I want to break this down. So, what does Sephiroth accuse Cloud of being throughout this game? He accuses him of being hollow. He accuses him of being almost like unreal, like a hollow puppet. And one of the ways he taunts him is by bringing him back to Biggs and Jesse's death in Remake and being like, look, you didn't even shed a tear. You felt nothing because you're hollow. Now, that's not entirely true, though it definitely is at least partially true. So Cloud's response to being taunted like that is anger, resentment, to lash out like he does here, almost as if his anger proves that he isn't hollow, right? Almost as if better to have this rage inside of me. This rage is an example that I'm not hollow, and that's kind of why he leans into it, gives into it without even realizing it. Sephiroth and Jenova are doing a very good job of psychologically manipulating him, you know? So yeah, keep that in mind. That's really what's being displayed here. And keep in mind also that what Sephiroth wants is to feed into sorrow and despair, and his way of baiting Cloud towards those emotions, you know, other than everything going on with Aerith, it were these taunts of you're hollow, you felt nothing, you're a puppet. Let's keep it going.
Let me through.
And you notice he held the sword like Sephiroth? Pushing himself. And keep in mind, like, Cloud is normally a very stoic guy. At least that's his persona when the story of FF7 starts. He's normally a very stoic guy. Sephiroth obviously poked at that stoicism and told him that's not an example of your strength, that's an example of your weakness. So, let's keep it going. Yeah, at least he accomplishes his goal here. Our boy ain't doing too well. And here we go. This is where things really ramp up, dude. Also, the voice acting, especially on Cloud's end right here, is remarkable. Oh, he's toast, Lance. He's toast.
Don't! Wait, what? What's happening?
See, he kind of looks like Sephiroth with that look. Also, I just want to say, I didn't think they could get me to love Cait Sith. I didn't talk about this enough on my review episode. I regretted not bringing it up enough. They made Cait Sith so enjoyable. Like, so enjoyable. I loved him. I loved every second he was on screen. It was so impressive to me. And I will say, you know, everyone's talking about Cody, you know, Cloud's voice actor. I'll say, this is the best Cloud has ever been. This is the best Cloud has ever been. And I actually think, I'm of the belief that Clive from Final Fantasy XVI is the best lead protagonist we've had in Final Fantasy since Zidane in Final Fantasy IX. However, Cloud from the remake trilogy, depending on what happens in the third game, may very well be the best protagonist in the history of Final Fantasy. Like, he's... And, you know, we're going to get into this too, because this is a big part, in my opinion, what we're going to discuss here today in the ending. I think what Cloud suffered from in the original game, you know, he's the unreliable narrator, which, you know what? I should have brought that up earlier too. But I'll swing back to that. But with Cloud being an unreliable narrator, it also, at times a lot in OG, made him an unrelatable narrator. Who can relate to their childhood hero coming to their hometown, burning it down, stabbing their childhood crush? Who else can relate to swapping out your personality for your dead friend's personality who you're conveniently forgetting their death? Like, there's a lot of things going on with Cloud that the everyday person just doesn't experience, right? However, what they're very cleverly doing with Rebirth, what they're very cleverly doing, and I've made videos on this, is they're putting the player in Cloud's head. They're making your experience with the narrative similar to Cloud's so that you can finally relate to him. Just the same way Cloud is going, what's fact, what's fiction, which are these memories, is this a vision of the future? The same way Cloud can't differentiate between what is fact, what is fiction, what's this world, what's that world, what's a dream, what's not a dream. We, the players, are going through the same thing. We, the players, are going through the same thing of what is fact, what is fiction, what is this world, what is that world, what's a dream, what's not a dream. It's such a clever way to take a character like Cloud, who, in my opinion, used to be unrelatable, and making him perhaps one of the most relatable characters we've had, just by the virtue of making us, the player, experience the narrative from his eyes. Now, something else I want to say before we move forward is, keep something in mind, guys, especially with the very ending of this game. Cloud is an unreliable narrator. He's an unreliable narrator, which simply means his perceptions of the narrative cannot and should not be fully trusted. So if Cloud is perceiving something that the rest of the cast cannot perceive, that is unreliable, and it should be perceived as such. Now, enough of that ear beating. Let's keep this going.
What the hell is he on to?
Also, I was right about Sid. Okay, let's just take a minute and say I was right about Sid. Which also, I was going to say this earlier in the episode. Something to consider about my little breakdown and analysis here. For those of you that follow the show, have listened to all my Landy Lodge FF7 episodes, maybe you also turn into the Midgar Minute, I've got a pretty good track record on predicting where this story was headed. A lot of my Rebirth predictions came true, whether it was everything with Roche and the way he relates to Sephiroth, the S-Genes, and Reunion. I have a whole video pretty much calling that. Everything that went on with Cloud and his perceptions, I got all of that in a video. Not to mention there was also, what's it called? Everything with Tifa, Genova, Sephiroth, the Imposter, pretty much called that entire subplot as well. Now again, this is a narrative that's repeating itself, so it's easier than most other narratives to predict what's going to happen. But when it came to the changes and the new elements of Rebirth, I have a pretty good track record calling this stuff. And when it comes to the ending and what these alternate worlds are too, I think I may have that down as well. Now, before I break an arm jerking myself off here, a lot of this game is designed to be ambiguous, and all of my predictions might end up wrong by the end of the third game. So, with that said, let's keep going.
Hey, watch it!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Give that a second. I don't know why that paused out. Oh, why are you at 144? Let's fix that. Oh, stupid mouse. YouTube is bugging on me right now. Let's pause this. I'm just going to need to refresh the page. Anyway, we'll take another chance to give a shout out to the Sages of the Lodge. Beautiful names you see on your screen right here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, they make this all possible, and we would not be here without them. And have no fear, 1080p is here. Now, let's pick this up where we left off. Just a little bit behind where we were. He's running through. Sung is a badass, gotta hand it to him. Vincent finds the exit. Let's take it back to here.
Let those who seek our star's demise find herein their rest. If the black materia is removed...
So yeah, let's go to that line. Let those who seek our star's demise find herein their rest. What that essentially means, and I thought this was pretty cool, is that this was a trap laid by the Cetra. This is where they hid the black materia. They knew whoever was seeking the black materia would be seeking the planet's demise. So they set up a trap that if you remove the black materia, the temple collapses on you. It's their last attempt to stop anybody who would seek this kind of power. I thought that was pretty cool.
Find herein their rest. If the black materia is removed, the whole place comes down.
You're kidding, right? Please tell me that you're kidding!
Calm down. We just have to return it to the altar.
It ain't that easy, Chief.
Let go. You first, kid.
It's too late. We can't stop it now. Besides, there's no point fighting over a fake.
Now this line is interesting. I'm gonna wait for Cloud's look because I think it's so good. That look, man, that look. Anyway, that line about Aerith calling the black materia a fake. I've seen some theories floating around that people think in the way the white materia swapped itself in and out between worlds, that this black materia might have done something different. But I don't think that's quite what Aerith means. I could be wrong about this. It's not a hill I would die on. But I really think what she's talking about is, you know, materia is made from that of the planet, right? Your lightning materia, even your white materia, it's all made of the planet. Black materia, not so much. So I think that's kind of what she means by it's a fake. Like it's unnatural, you know? But I don't know. I wouldn't put too much stock in that. But again, this look by Cloud is so good.
No, you're trying to fool me.
Not gonna work.
Damn it. Think we're screwed.
I'm back! Just in the nick of time!
You double-crossing.
Hold that thought!
Oh, Nox, Sephiroth does acknowledge it. When we're going through, make sure I don't miss it. Make sure I don't miss it.
Run! Well, there's still time! Leave the heavy lifting to me!
Alright.
For real.
We've gone over Kate Sith. Oh god, keep doing this. It's not a whole lot to break down here. Cloud gets the black materia back. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. I know we got some time. Vincent finds the exit. They get away. Now, here's what I like. I thought it was a good touch, by the way, that during this gameplay sequence, they have you control Aerith. Because I think the idea is that Cloud is not here. His body is here, but the Cloud you've gotten used to playing as is not here. Quote unquote. So I thought it was interesting to have Aerith be the one you control, and that the last person to leave this temple... Oh, wait, it might be Barrett. Hold on. Okay, there's Kate Sith. More of him. Again, a lot of him is pretty straightforward. We don't really need to break it down. Let's get this crew outside. Yep, everybody gets away. Kate Sith gets pancaked. which, you know, credit to him. Okay, then we're out. I think we can let it roll here. Okay, collapses. Maybe we should move forward a little bit. Okay, here's a good spot. Here's a good spot.
Now that's not a sight you see every day, eh?
Yes, Kate Sith is alive. Awesome possum. Now let's keep this going. This is where things get juicy. This is where things get juicy.
All right, knock it off, you.
So, y'all get what you were after?
Read the room, dude. Like, come on.
Come on. I love Yuffie in this. She's so funny. Now here we go. This is so good too. Hold
What's gotten into you? Didn't you hear what Aerith said?
That's mine.
He almost seems like a little kid here. The way he's like, that's mine. It's like if you took away a kid's kickball. Which I think is a nice touch. Because I feel like Cloud almost has like a Gollum thing going on. Like the Black Materia's the precious, my precious. You know? Keep that going.
Fine, fetch.
When you take away a kid's iPad, pretty much. See, now this is interesting. Let's take note of a few things here.
Sephiroth.
So Cloud sees him. They hear Cloud say that.
This is the key, which grants access to the true counterpart hidden between worlds.
This is the key, which grants access to the true counterpart hidden between worlds. The counterpart. He's looking for... There it is. Yes, there it is. You know, you know where I got mixed up? I thought he was talking about the white materia. No, that's how I interpreted that, Nicholas. I thought when he says counterpart, he means the counter to the black materia, the white materia, which is what he's trying to get a hold of that too. So maybe he means there's another black materia, but I interpreted that line as him saying he's looking for the counterpart to the black materia, the white materia hidden between worlds, which is where they go as a consequence of this encounter. Hearing it now, I think he does mean the white one. Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll wait till part 3, but that's what I thought.
Give it back!
Whoa!
Okay, so Aerith can see him too, obviously.
At last, the time has come.
Okay, here we go.
The black materia.
Yes, Cloud. Yes. The black materia, dude.
What in the world is going on?
Could it be?
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the true villain of Final Fantasy VII. You know how an addict, when they're addicted to a substance, they need more and more and more and more of that substance to feel anything? Hojo is like that with science. Anyway.
Has it finally begun?
Oh, that's so hard to watch, bro. It's my friend. It's my friend.
We're losing altitude, sir! And fast! Get us clear!
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything worth skipping that's coming up.
Sephiroth.
This is kind of nuts. You know, it kind of reminds me of End of the Highway a little bit. Okay, evil demonic tentacles.
I'm waiting.
Now this was good. Now, keep something in mind, because I think this confuses a lot of people. Okay, so the significance of this, and I suppose I'll let this roll on mute while I'm talking, because it's a pretty long sequence. There is a theme within this new trilogy about doing something willingly. Remember in Remake, when they were like, Aerith has to come to Shinra Tower of her own agency, that the whole thing about using a Cetra or an Ancient to get to the Promised Land, it doesn't work unless the Cetra or Ancient does it of their own agency. That's a big deal. You can't make it to the Promised Land without that. Obviously, Sephiroth already has the black materia, right? But there's something going on here where he needs Cloud to give it to him of his own agency. There's something going on there where before Sephiroth and Jenova can continue with what they want to do, they need to see that Cloud can be controlled in this manner. He has to, it's not enough for Sephiroth to steal the black materia. Cloud has to give it to him of his own agency. I don't know why I paused. I said I would keep that going. Alright, come on. So he drops it in front of him. Now, I want them to kind of go into this a little more in part 3. I want to know why he's so obsessive about the black materia. I guess it's actually kind of self-explanatory. Everything with Jenova and everything going on there.
Rise, Cloud. Bring it to me.
See, this is almost like a ritual. Like it has to be passed on to him. Good on you, Tifa. Good on you, Aerith.
Aerith, please.
Cloud! Snap out of it!
Yes, Cloud. Snap out of it.
Damn. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at, Nicholas. Is that it's a test. He's testing his influence.
I can't let you have this.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, guys. When I first played this, I thought this was gonna be it. I thought this was gonna be it. I was screaming.
If she won't give it to us, we must take it.
Cloud! Stop!
And this is why, guys. This is why, ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel like it's... You know, Jenova as the villain also can't be understated enough. Because, like, that's Sephiroth right there. Make no mistake, that is Sephiroth. And I do believe there's a piece of him in there that still has agency. But that's... I don't know. Especially in a post-Crisis Core world. When I look at Sephiroth, I just see Jenova. And that Sephiroth is the right vessel to bait Cloud, which is who Jenova needs. And again, I'm not saying Sephiroth doesn't have agency there, but it's almost like an elusive agency. You know? Anyway, I'm going to keep it going. We're here to talk about the ending, not deep lore about Sephiroth's origins. We can get into that anytime. And this part here too, man. Like he's lost it. His eggs are scrambled, bro.
You can trust me. Let's see if we can together.
He's repeating Sephiroth's lines. Whole ordeal. All right, here we go. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be it. When I first played, I thought this was this. I thought this is where they were going. And I'm not gonna lie, I would have been down for it.
Whatever happens.
Yo, Zebulon says he's now bargaining for it, showing that he's fully being manipulated, tricked into thinking that he needs it. Almost like hypnotized, man. It's almost like having the Genova cells in him. You know, the S cells. It's just like overriding the operating system.
I'm here for you.
And then Aerith hands it over of her own agency to Cloud.
Thank you.
Nobody did anything they didn't want or want to do. Nobody was forced to do anything here. And he's looking at it. He looks at him like, did I do good? Like, the facial expressions are so good. Now he starts to snap out of it. This part is self-explanatory. I got to keep us moving, or else this is going to be a 4-hour podcast. So obviously he gets flashes. Let's take it from here. This part especially is where I thought Sephiroth was going to do the deed. And I'm not going to lie, it would have been awesome. I thought right here it was coming. Guys, I was screaming at this point. Now, keep something in mind, too. That everything that just happened here was a setup by Sephiroth, right? The whispers, those dark tree branch tentacles. He baited this whole situation, got them to this point, and he could have done whatever he wanted with the two of them. He could have killed them. He could have put them on ice. He could have kidnapped them. He deliberately chose to slice this and send them plummeting down. And now things get wild. Let's skip over this. This is just the Turks, right? Think there's a conversation with Hojo here? Yes.
Some is in grave condition.
Let's skip ahead.
Tell me, Professor,
Check this.
how would you explain the phenomena we witnessed at the temple?
It would be premature to draw any scientific conclusions. But one thing is abundantly clear. We at Shinra could stand to dream far bigger.
So, that's what he chooses to say. He was outright asked, what the hell was that? He doesn't have a scientific conclusion, which shows that like there's a scientific curiosity pushing Hojo, but it's a sadistic one. You know, it's one that has no care of the outcome. It appears to be sheerly of curiosity, right? We've not seen Hojo express any desire to be like a god or to be master of the universe or king of Shinra. We're not seeing any of this sort of ambitions of power or influence or godhood or immortality. What you're seeing here is like unchecked scientific curiosity that, like I said, has gotten him to the point where he can't feel anything unless he dials it up to a 12. Now, let's bump this up a little bit. Let's get ourselves to the real crazy stuff. Here we go. All right, guys, it's almost time. It's almost time now that we're getting into the Zack of it all.
His hair was long.
Okay, we know all this. All this is pretty... I'm trying to cover anything that's ambiguous. If it's something outright, then I'm going to mostly jump over it. Like, that's very outright. Yes, Aerith had a little crush on Cloud, but as Marlene said, she was only crushing on Cloud because you weren't here, Zack. By the way, Peasus Gaming just raided us with a party of 5 over on Twitch. What is going on, Peasus? How you doing, dude? Thank you for the raid. We're talking a little FF7 today and the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth ending. So if you're trying to avoid Rebirth ending spoilers and you're a part of that raid, get on out. But ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Peasus Gaming over on Twitch. Let me give you a little shout out, dude. And again, thank you for that raid. Hope everything is good on your end, bro. All right, let me get this. I'll throw this over in the YouTube chat. And let's keep it rolling.
Hang in there, Cloud. I got you.
So obviously we see this, right? He chooses to go after Cloud, and what that effectively does is branch off 2 different worlds. One where he went for Biggs, one where he went for Cloud. We're going to get back into that. Now,
Cloud, and it's not like we have much left.
So a lot of what I'm about to go over and say is going to be, a lot of what I'm going to go over and say is going to be, was already covered in the in the game review that I did. So I'm going to be repeating myself from a couple episodes ago, but it's very important information that I don't think should be overlooked, especially in this conversation. Yes, Zane, very, very well noted. Very well noted.
Up and at him, soldier.
So here's Aerith. She's going to drop something that, again, I don't think is discussed enough. How did we get here?
What is this? Are we?
We could call it a homecoming. Or homeward bound, maybe? Let's just call it a dream. My dream.
Okay. Let's just call it a dream. My dream, to be precise. Now, it makes you wonder if some of these worlds that are spawning in and out of existence, stamp chips on the table behind Cloud, yes. And there are different stamps. There are different stamps. There are multiple worlds. But it seems like these worlds can spawn as a result of people's thoughts, dreams, memory, otherwise, things that are contained within the Lifestream. Because I think that's where all this stems from, mind you, obviously. So Aerith is saying we're in this world, let's just call it a dream, which tells you it's not quite a dream, but she says my dream, to be precise. Now, it's questionable. You know what? Let's let this keep rolling. There's not too much we need to cover from here, but it's very clearly an ideal scenario for Aerith to spend some time with Cloud before it all ends. Now, what were we talking about earlier, right? You have the denial of death and the acceptance of death. Now, when you go through, again, she says here, you have to promise not to look up because there's the fractured sky. We're going to talk about that today. Obviously, she was setting him up. She wants him to see that. But all the people in this world are accepting that the world is ending. Like when they talk to all the vendors, they all seem to understand, hey, the world's ending. Everything's free. I'm going to miss this. You have a world of people that have accepted their fate. Aerith here is not much different. It's almost like turning Aerith inside out. This world that we're in is almost like an inside out Aerith. Fate has been accepted, right? Fate has been accepted. The inevitability of death has been accepted, but people are happy and trying to enjoy their final moments, which is what Aerith is trying to do here. Remember, Cloud saved Aerith in Remake, and she said she'd pay him back with one date. That was her promise to him, that she'd pay him back with one date. And what you see a lot in Remake is characters doing their best to correct the regrets of the original game. Not necessarily with the knowledge of the original game, withholding Aerith and Sephiroth. But Aerith is trying to have that one date with Cloud and really soak up that good time before it's time for her to go. Wish fulfillment. Exactly, Josh. So let me move us forward here. The fractured sky. We're going to come back to this fractured sky, but I want to pull something up that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Because there's something I want to talk about. You can't really see it here. But you guys see how that... You could see it. You could see in the sky how it's fractured that way. And we're going to talk about this at the end of the episode. But riddle me this. Does that look familiar to you guys? Does that look familiar to you guys? If you look on screen? That's the same ripple from the original game when Tifa and Cloud are in the Lifestream. You see that same ripple when you're in the Lifestream. You see where I'm going with this? And it is way more clear. This is a faded shot. It is way more clear at the end with Cloud when he sees the sky. But this is a signal that this world is a consequence of the Lifestream. The Lifestream which holds people's memories, thoughts, dreams. Aerith saying, this is a dream. This is my dream, to be precise. It's almost like this is her little pocket of the Lifestream. And Sephiroth even acknowledges that when he contacts her and says, oh, so this is where you've been hiding. But keep this in mind, guys, that this ripple has only been seen within the Lifestream. The planet exists externally from the Lifestream. But these worlds, they appear to exist within the Lifestream. And we're going to come back to this. I swear we're going to come back to this, especially at the end and the convergence of worlds. But for now, let's keep this going. Again, nothing here's too crazy. Aerith just trying to have some fun. Don't need to put too much stock into it. Obviously, there's things here that are worth discussing, like picking the stamp items and everything. In a way, this sort of mirrors Aerith's date with Zack. But, holy shit, yeah, you like that, Lance. You like that. We're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this. Because this is the scene. This is where the whole series is headed. This scene is going to be the pivotal scene of the trilogy.
To give his very first gift to Aerith. Only question.
Okay.
Even.
Here, let me mute this until we get to where we want to get. Again, a lot of this is pretty on the nose. They're having a fun date. But what they show you is these vendors. Figured I'd pull out all the stops for my last hurrah. They're, again, the acceptance of death. There are those who accept it. There are those who deny it. Now, let's keep this going. Perfect, perfect. This is another huge point. Let me tell you, what's coming up right now is a huge point, guys. You ready for this?
Pretty sure I only asked to meet with Professor Hojo. Not a whole platoon.
Platoon, you might say?
Whatever. The world's about to end anyway. Got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
So, this is the Zack that chose to go after Cloud. That's why he was looking for Hojo. If I got that right. If I got that right. But anyway, this is not the same Zack that pursues Biggs, right? This is my favorite sequence of cutscenes in gaming. Lands, it's something. It flows much better when it's just cutscenes. I feel like the gameplay actually breaks it up in a way that it feels a little choppy. But going through just the cutscenes, it's very smooth. Yes, this is the Zack that goes after Hojo, right? So guys, here's the thing, and this is something to keep in mind. The Zack that goes after Hojo and the Zack that goes after Biggs, they're the same Zack, but it's a fractionated, they're fractionated versions of him in the way that Genova's been fractionated, and now the planet and its worlds have been fractionated. Characters like Zack have been fractionated as well. That's why he can be here and with Biggs at the same time, so to speak. There's a stamp here. Yes, and they're showing you, right? They're showing you that this Zack, right? There's only one Zack. We don't see, like, this Zack appears in all these worlds with the different stamps. So it's again, in a sense, a fractionated version of him. And when we get to Biggs, you see that as well. The Biggs that we see is clearly the Biggs from Remake. He has all the memories of Biggs from Remake. He acts the same way as Biggs from Remake. He recounts history exactly the same as Remake. So clearly that Biggs, who's in this other world, is the same Biggs from Remake, but he's been fractionated. Now, when we get to the scene where Sephiroth lays this out, I'll go into further detail. Just want to give little bits here and there. Now, let's take it back to Zack. Funny thing about Zack, funny thing about fate. Keep this in mind, guys. There's a very clear message being spelled out to the audience, and that's these worlds, and, you know, let's take it back to Remake. After severing off the world from fate and unbounding us from fate, there's a very clear message here that you can sever yourself off from fate, but fate will come and find you anyway. That you can't escape your fate at the end of the day. How is this shown to us? In the fact that no matter what world Zack is in, no matter where he goes, that platoon that shoots him down finds him. Right? At the end of Crisis Core, when that platoon shows up and guns him down, well, guess what? They found him in this alternate world, and they're going to find him in the Biggs alternate world. The fact of the matter is you can change fate, but that fate will still come for you. That fate will still follow you. That's what they're showing us here. That's why they needed multiple worlds to show this to you, to show, hey, it's not just a one-off. It's not just a two-off. No matter what, you can sever off from fate. You can create pocket dimensions within the Lifestream. The fact of the matter is, fate will find you. And that's what this is showing us, and it's going to keep showing us, and I'll point it out when it happens. And there we go. Ooh, I still have some tea left. Lucky day.
So this is where you've been hiding. In
a world that has accepted its fate. Right? Sephiroth gives it all away, guys. I'm telling you, he speaks cryptically, but he gives it all away. And this is where you've been hiding, right? I'm not certain this Aerith... Anyway, let's keep this going. I'm losing it here.
World that has accepted its fate.
Keep it rolling.
Hey, what's that?
Let's go see.
Oh, this is where they take the pictures. Okay, so now we're here in the Biggs world, where they deliberately show you this is a different world because of stamp. We have a pug stamp. We don't have beagle stamp. We got pug stamp. This is a different world from the one we just saw Zack in, from the one that Cloud and Aerith are in. And watch what happens as a consequence.
What gives? Reactor busted?
Seems it's all out of Mako. I'm still sucking away, but the only thing it's pulling up is dirt.
Meaning?
That the Lifestream's bone dry. Bomb one reactor, bomb them all. Planet's done either way.
Accepting his fate.
And so are we.
Run!
Give me a second. I'm going to skip us ahead a little bit here. Oh, I wanted to point this out real quick. Check this out. So obviously Biggs is being down on himself. He's like, what am I even still doing here? Why was I the one who survived? I'm incompetent. I'm unimportant. But he's not. It's a little tragic why he's here, but he's here to show us something very important. But I wanted to point this out. Total Angeal energy. Total Angeal energy right there. Angeal would be proud. This kind of actually reminds me of when he held his hand out to Zack in the beginning of Christ. I just love this shot. I don't know if it's intentional, but to me, it's like I'm looking at Angeal's ghost. It's awesome.
Thanks, but...
Now, let's remind ourselves, how did Biggs die? He was storming Shinra Tower, and Shinra troopers shot him down. Sort of similar to Zack, right? Biggs and Zack, coincidentally, seem to have met death in a similar fashion. They both met their doom at the hands of Shinra, particularly Shinra platoons that gunned them down. So maybe now it's starting to make sense why Zack and Biggs are the ones in this room alone. Okay? Let's keep it going.
Why are you here?
Yeah, about that.
Never mind. I know. Kinda obvious now I think about it. World may be ending and all, but a bombing's still a bombing.
That's part of it too. But mostly, I was worried about you.
That bleeding heart. It'll get you killed.
I don't know. I wanted to take action. Take charge. Take control. To know that I had a choice.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere deep. I think this may be foreshadowing Zack's role in the next game. Consider something. Zack is obviously a very special character here. I think Zack was chosen by the planet, maybe a future Aerith. That's something to consider too, guys. I think there may be a quote-unquote future Aerith in play. Only because a couple times... First of all, that's been a theory since Remake. But if you notice a couple times during this game, Aerith references her future self. She even says to Zack at one... Not Zack. She even says to Cloud at one point. Excuse me. She even says to Cloud at one point, you know, one day maybe you'll meet my future self and I think you're going to love her. Or something along those lines. Like she references like you'll meet my future self one day. Just something to keep in mind. Anyway, whether it be the planet, a future Aerith, the Lifestream, whatever it's got to be, Zack was chosen. When we were unsevered from fate, Zack was chosen to be kept around. And I think there's something unique about Zack. I think Zack himself might be a singularity. In the sense that if you notice, when he chose to pursue one character, it opened up two branching worlds. I'm not sure any other character, their choices have a consequence like that. But I think Zack is in a unique position because he's not in the real world, but he's sort of navigating these pocket dimensions, that he's almost like this unique singularity whose choices do matter. Whose choices do matter. But anyway, let's keep it going.
That this path, this world was one I chose. I wanted to take back my life.
Brutal. Brutal.
Biggs? Buddy? No. No.
Now, why do this?
Biggs, get up!
Now, when I first saw this scene, I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that was a bit upset, only because I really love Biggs. And I felt like just killing him off here was useless until I thought about it a little more. Keep this up. Now, look what gunned him down. Shinra troopers. Just like on the Shinra Tower in Remake, he died the same way. Rebelling against Shinra, Shinra gunned him down. So even though fate changed and he was granted another lot of life after Remake where he was gunned down, here in this world, he's gunned down in the same way again. And who else do we know was gunned down in this way? Zack. Zack.
End of the road, huh?
And here comes a great line.
It's got one twisted sense of humor.
There it is. Fate's got one twisted sense of humor. It's very deliberate. Fate is not a word they use lightly in this trilogy. Fate is not a word they use lightly in this trilogy. Zack is getting the point. Oh man, no matter what, this Shinra platoon just keeps coming for me. Whether it be in the OG, whether it be when he pursued Cloud, whether it be where he pursues Biggs, it just keeps happening. And what does he do? He makes a choice.
And I'm always the punchline.
Instead of fighting
But I'm
them,
sick of taking its shit. This is my life. I make the rules.
instead of fighting,
See you never.
he dips. Now, things go white. Now, keep this in mind, guys, and I thought about bringing it up on this episode, but we're going to do a whole separate episode going over Lifestream White, Lifestream Black, because that's very important to this ending, in a sense. I'm going to summarize it when we get to that part, but white, let's make it simple. White equals Aerith, Planet, Lifestream. Black equals Sephiroth, Genova, and let's just say a tainted Lifestream, for lack of a better term. So he makes that jump, and this fade to white, this dip to white, to me is a signal that the Lifestream, the planet, is going to move him somewhere else. You see a lot of this, especially in what's coming up. Okay. Keep it moving. Here we go. Keep doing that.
All right. I'll tell you when we get to our spot, okay?
All right, yep. That's when they move to the church. Okay. Let's let that play out, right? Dip to white, right? Lifestream, Planet, Aerith, and here we are with Zack. How did we get here? Now we have the Zack that went for Biggs, the Zack that went for Hojo, and now we have the Zack here at this church. They're all the same Zack. Zack is getting around a lot. Yeah, he's fractionated in the way Genova's fractionated, the planet's fractionated. I can keep going. Anyway, it's all the same Zack. So hear me out. We'll take a swig. Take a swig for Zack. Take a swig for Zack. Okay. Zack is getting around a lot. Yeah, you can say that again. But again, much in the way that Zack is fractionated between these worlds, all these worlds are fractionated versions of the Lifestream. That's why they're blipping out in and out of existence so quickly. You know, if something is a timeline, right? And, you know, I'm going to save it for when Sephiroth unveils all of this. That's the best time to talk about it. I'm just going to let this roll.
Cloud.
New stamp.
Biggs.
New stamp.
Or Aerith. How the hell am I supposed to choose?
There's your boy.
Sephiroth.
His indecisiveness matters here, 100%. Like I said, a world he chooses, right? He doesn't know which world to choose. What about the Zack from the end of Intergrade that went straight to the church? Yes. It's all fractionated. So is Sephiroth not interested in Zack? So here's the thing that we have to explain. In Lifestream White and Lifestream Black, which is a little novel written by Nojima, who writes these games, in Lifestream Black, it details how Sephiroth was able to revive himself in Advent Children. The way Sephiroth was able to revive himself in Advent Children is he had to sever himself off from his previous memories, and he had to fixate on Cloud, because Cloud was the one who had those living, potent memories of him. So when Sephiroth was in the Lifestream after OG FF7, he cast off a lot of his old memories, so all that would remain was Cloud, as Cloud was his means of revival. So it explains why he's so fixated on Cloud, despite having more of a history with guys like Zack, or even Hojo, or other people from Shinra. the reason why he doesn't care much for Zack here is because that Sephiroth from Crisis Core, he's not really in there. He is, but he's not. He severed himself from that. If this truly is an Advent Children Sephiroth, we'll keep it going.
You want a piece of me?
No, not you.
So check this. Black, right? Here comes Sephiroth Genova. Sephiroth and Genova are pulling him and taking him somewhere else. So what this establishes is that whether it be Sephiroth Genova or the planet in the Lifestream, both have the ability to kind of suck you into this black or white portal and move you around the board. That's what Sephiroth and the Whispers and Genova are attempting to do here with Zack. Keep in mind the fade to black, right? Here he is. He's in the black. He's in the Genova stream, let's call it.
It was all you, wasn't it, Sephiroth?
All right, you see this? Surrounded by nothing but Sephiroth's Whispers. Lifestream black.
Well, it isn't over yet.
Isn't over yet. He's fighting his way through. Where does he end up? Lifestream white with yellow petals surrounding him. That tells me there's something with Aerith in play here. And the Aerith we know, like the Aerith that's been walking around with us, doesn't really know that this Zack is here, but there's clearly an Aerith in play if there are these yellow flower petals floating around him. So we got out of Lifestream black, makes it back to Lifestream white. Clearly Aerith. Clearly Aerith. Follow them, the yellow flowers.
Find a way.
Right there.
You'll see.
So he moves his way into the Lifestream and we'll get to where he ends up.
This is it, right? Our spot?
Bingo.
That was easy.
I told you it was obvious.
Well, you'll have to give me a harder one next time.
Oh? Next time?
Give me a second. Let's boost this up a little bit. Again, definitely want to keep this podcast under 3 hours. So obviously here's Aerith confessing her feelings to Cloud, and she's good to see that in some way those feelings are reciprocated. That's all she really wanted to see as a result of this world. Cloud acknowledges that she's been weird all day. This shot is so beautiful. This shot of the two of them is stunning. Like, that is a beautiful shot. The music, the aesthetics, it's stunning.
Whatever happens, don't blame yourself.
We're going to come back to this. When it's theory time, we're going to come back to that line. Whatever happens, don't blame yourself. But theory time won't be until the end of the episode.
Cloud. Thank you. Sorry. I'll be okay.
Now, here we go. Here we go. This was the plan, right? This was the plan.
Here. Take it.
Give him the white materia.
But your mom gave that to you.
Because recall that the white materia in our world, we'll get there. Just keep in mind that we're getting the white materia here. Keep that in mind.
This isn't about me, though. It's about saving the world. And you.
What I don't understand here is why wouldn't Aerith let Cloud defend her? We're going to get to that.
So thank you, Cloud, for everything.
To answer your question, Renaissance Elf, because A, Cloud would lose that fight. B, this is not the world that needs saving. This is Aerith's dream. This is her little pocket dimension, let's put it that way. It's not the real world. So the real world, the one Cloud is from, that's what needs saving. That's what she's saying right there, like Renaissance Elf, when she says right there, it's not about me though. It's about saving the world and you. So, guys, it was never about saving Aerith. It's about saving Cloud. That's what this is about.
What is this?
She pushes him in the... So keep this in mind, guys. Zack gets pushed in by Sephiroth, falls into the dark, the Lifestream Black, gets intercepted by Lifestream White. Aerith is going to push Cloud into another world, absorbed by Lifestream White, but intercepted by Sephiroth and Lifestream Black. It's interesting how that happens. Let me just say that again. Sephiroth shoots Zack into another world. He falls into the Black, intercepted by the White. Aerith shoots Cloud into another world. Cloud falls into the White, intercepted by the Black. Keep it going. And here comes Sephiroth. Guys, Miyu is on it. Another example of someone dying the way fate intended. Right? Here it is playing out again. The same way it kept playing out with Biggs and with Zack. Here it is playing out with Aerith. Aerith is doomed to repeat this fate. And no matter where she goes, she could hide in a little pocket dimension of her dreams. Sephiroth is still going to find her. Keep going. Renaissance Elf says, I still hope a timeline or world exists where Zack and Aerith can live happily ever after and have a family. That's not what their purpose in this world is. I mean, they're together forever in the Lifestream, at least in OG with Advent Children and all that. They reunite in the Lifestream and they live that out as guardians of the planet. But if you've been watching us for long here, Renaissance Elf, you're starting to see that fate can't really be avoided. You can postpone it, you can dodge it, but it will still dread it, run from it. Destiny arrives.
It's been fun.
She's saying goodbye, too. It's clear what's about to happen. It's clear what's about to happen. So check it out. He falls into the White. And I've watched this like 3 times. Here he comes. He's going to get intercepted by Sephiroth, Genova, Whisper. And this is where they give it all up. I covered this in one of my recent episodes. I'm going to cover it again. Because Sephiroth gives it all away.
The true nature of reality.
Behold the true nature of reality. And again, guys, do not let this confuse you. It's not our reality. Things do not work here the way they work in the real world. So in a lot of ways, trying to apply material logic to a more metaphysical world is going to leave your head spinning. Just take what Sephiroth says and run with it.
When the boundaries of fate are breached, new worlds are born.
Okay, when the boundaries of fate are breached, new worlds are born. So a consequence of the party severing off from fate in Remake is that these new little pocket worlds were born. Now keep in mind, Sephiroth did not say new universes. Sephiroth did not say new planets. Sephiroth did not say new timelines. He said new worlds. And he's not using world in a planetary sense. I'll get more into that as he keeps going.
The planet encompasses a multitude of worlds.
The planet encompasses a multitude of worlds ever unfolding. So let's be clear. When he says worlds, he's not talking about different planets. He's not talking about a planetary world. He means more, you have the planet that we know, Gaia. Let's call it the prime line, right? I know that's a term that's been popularized. The prime line. All these worlds that have been spawned that little Biggs world, Aerith stream, all of these little pocket worlds that are blipping in and out of existence, they all stem from the same planet. It's all one planet. And this is what I was getting into, guys. Look, if you had multiple timelines or multiple universes, that means you wouldn't have just one life stream. You wouldn't have just one planet. But all these worlds, they share a planet and they share a life stream. If you had multiverse, if you had multiple universes, there would be multiple life streams and multiple different planets. But you don't. If you had different timelines, you would have different life streams, different planets, because technically it's a different manifestation of the planet, a different manifestation of the life stream. But clearly the battle is being fought, encompassed within one life stream on one planet. Where else was I going to take that? So, yeah, as I'm getting at, he clearly states here that all these worlds are connected to one planet, one life stream. This is one timeline. This is one universe. But with everything in disarray, these pocket dimensions are blipping in and out of existence. But those pocket dimensions all stem from the life stream, and they all return to the life stream when they end. Because, all those pocket worlds pop up, but what do they all have in common? They're apocalyptic. They're bound to end. When you go to those worlds, everyone knows the world is ending. They're not meant to last. And if they were separate timelines, then they would have the same starting point. But they don't. They all branch off from the end of Remake. So again, we're gonna talk about it a little bit more as we go on. But again, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, this trilogy, is not a multiverse, and it's not multiple timelines. There are multiple worlds, mind you, but a lot of those worlds are temporary, and they blip out of existence almost as quickly as they blipped in. You know, it's not like an everlasting timeline or its own sentient universe. This all stems from one planet, one life stream. See the planet in life stream as like a tree trunk, and all these pocket dimensions as the tree branches that are branching off of the trunk. Now, we have more to say. We'll let Sephiroth keep going, because again, there's more to it.
Ever unfolding. Some quickly perish, while others endure.
Again, some quickly perish, while others endure. Oh boy. Hold up. Did we got a raid from Andy Brew, ladies and gentlemen. We got a raid from Andy Brew. Raiders, if you're here, we are talking about the end of Rebirth. If you are trying to avoid spoilers, get up on out of here. Andy, my man, thank you for that raid. How was Stellar Blade, dude? I saw you were playing the demo. How are you liking it? Let me get you that shout out. And let me throw that in the YouTube chat. Again, Raiders, welcome to the stream, welcome to the podcast, but if you are trying to avoid spoilers for the end of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, get up on out of here. Get up on out of here. I already warned them. Good. Fun as heck. Yeah, dude. I'm excited to get my hands on it. Thank you, Andy. We are currently rolling. I haven't watched your stream, your finale reaction yet. I got to get on that. But you'll be hearing from me soon, dude. We got to get you in the lodge. I want your take on all of this. But anyway, guys, just to recap where we were, Sephiroth is giving it all away in this scene. It's not multiple universes. It's not multiple timelines. We're operating with one life stream, one planet, and all those worlds exist as a consequence of that life stream and of that planet. If we had multiple universes, if we had multiple timelines, then we would have multiple life streams and multiple planets. But that's not what we have. That's not what we have. It's something different. And maybe our language, maybe the reason why everyone keeps saying timelines and multiverses, because maybe we just don't have the words in our native language to explain exactly what this is. But to me, it's very clear. In chat, you let me know what you think. To me, it is very clear. This is not a multiverse, and these are not multiple timelines. Again, as somebody who, like, to me, multiple timelines, you look at comic books, right? You have all these different Batmans, and you have all these different Spider-Mans. Like Spider-Man Enter the Multiverse, you had like Pig Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen and, you know, Norse Spider-Man. That's not what's going on here. You know, you don't have like Detective Cloud and have like the Soldier First Class Cloud, a Cloud who actually became First Soldier. You're not having any of that. All these timelines, these characters are doomed to repeat the same fates. If there were multiple timelines and multiple universes, everybody wouldn't be repeating the same fate. That defeats the purpose. So, now, let's keep it going. And again, personally, I much prefer it because I think once you introduce multiverses, the stakes are gone. If there were multiple universes and multiple timelines, then Sephiroth wouldn't need things to happen in our world. He could go to the world where all of Avalanche died. And he could go run shit there. But that's not how it works. He needs it to happen in this prime line, let's call it, in this prime world. That's where reality is. Now, exactly. Nicholas Piara says FF7 was never a multiverse timeline tale, so I don't know why they would remake it to be. And they didn't. It's something different. There's not Cloud A and Cloud B. There's not Zack A, Zack B, Zack C, Zack T. It's all a fraction of the same Zack, right? It's all fractions of them. And that's the best way I can put it. In the way Genova's fractionated, in the way the planet's fractionating, it's happening across existence, across reality. Now, let's keep this going. We have more to do.
Yet even the most resilient worlds are doomed to fade. Nevertheless, their loss is not to be mourned. For it is not death, but a homecoming that awaits them. In the planet's embrace, all life is as one. All born are bound to her. Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
Yes, Andy, it's a great way of putting it. It's the planet's memory/streams rather than the multiverse. It's happening in the Lifestream. That's the thing. It's all taking place in the Lifestream. It's not a separate Lifestream, separate universe, separate planet, separate timeline, separate... No, it's all happening in the Lifestream. And again, I got to pull it up. You see it in OG. You see it in OG. That ripple in the sky exists within the Lifestream. Anyway, we're keeping it going. This is just recapping the end of remake for us.
He cares about the planet. That he'd do everything in his power to protect and preserve it. But this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Renaissance Elf says, you're right, because Zack bringing Cloud back to Midgar would have been a completely different story. Biggs gives it away when he talks about his memories of the Beagle timeline. Could not have said it better myself, Renaissance Elf. That spells it out right there. Cloud bringing Zack bringing Cloud back to Midgar should have indicated that this was a completely different story, completely different sequence of events. But the Biggs we run into, his memories are of remake of that Cloud. He knows that Cloud. He gives it away. Take what these characters are saying to heart. They're giving it away. I'm telling you, it really, maybe I'm crazy and maybe history proves me wrong, but it really does not seem as confusing as it seems the first time around if you just really pay attention to what these characters are saying. Because whether it's Sephiroth, Biggs, Zack, they're saying it outright to the player. Now look at this. Whoa, dial it back. So, what is Sephiroth? This is the other thing I was going to get at, guys. Obviously, what is Sephiroth aiming at? What is he aiming towards throughout this whole thing? The convergence of worlds, the confluence of worlds, merging worlds. Now, you'll see this play out. I don't think he literally meant merging our full-blown world with another full-blown world. No, the confluence of worlds is happening within Cloud Strife. That's why at the end, he's in reality with the other cast members, but he's seeing a different sky, and he's able to see Aerith while the others aren't, because the confluence of worlds happened within Cloud. It's not the world itself where it took place. It's within Cloud. Cloud, his eggs are so scrambled now, he's living in two worlds at once. That's what Sephiroth wanted, to break him further, confuse him further, manipulate him further. So he's done it with this confluence of worlds within Cloud. And I almost think what you're about to see take place on the screen is a visual representation of that happening. You're going to see these two orbs, in a sense, collide with one another. Now, let's let that roll. See, check it out. You see this? Confluence. The two collide into one.
Listen to the planet, Cloud. To her ecstatic cries, her rapture.
Screaming! It's screaming!
It's in pain. It's in pain. This is all unnatural.
I thought you might finally understand. Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together.
Again, guys, we talked about it. I'm trying to keep this as like the main thematic here. It's all about accepting death and denying it. Let us defy destiny together. He wants Cloud to deny the notion of death. Why? Because this is at the crux of Cloud's character arc. In a sense, from his fuzzy recall, not wanting to talk about his mom, not properly remembering the Nibelheim incident, Cloud already denies death. By not recalling the death of his mother and not going down that road and avoiding it, he, in a sense, is denying her death. He's denying death outright in that sense by putting up this front, conflicted memories, not wanting to talk about it when they're in calm. But if you compare him to the rest of the party has accepted death. Barrett has accepted the death of Myrna and his friends in Avalanche. Tifa has accepted the death of her father. Aerith has accepted the death of her mother. Yuffie has accepted the death of Sonon and perhaps her nation. We can keep this going. Okay, like Sid has accepted the death of his dream. They've all accepted death in one way or another. Cloud is the outlier who, with Red 13 and Seto, Cloud is the outlier who denies the death of his mother. And I think this is part of why Sephiroth thinks he's perfect for the job, to put it bluntly. I gotta stop doing that.
7 seconds till the...
Zane says, Landy, do you think Sephiroth got what he wanted at the end of this game? How do you explain his reaction to Aerith and saying he underestimated her? I will elaborate on all that when we get there. We're about 30 minutes of clips away from there. But I will get into that.
For you, perhaps.
Zack's death too. Yeah, Nicholas, I glossed over that. Zack's death too. Cloud lives in denial of Zack's death. It's not just his mother. It's not just Zack. And then Aerith, third time's the charm in OG, that finally breaks him, that finally snaps him. And that's why he has so much trouble in Advent Children. But Cloud as a character, whether it's his mother, whether it's Zack, he denies the death. He denies it by, in a sense, living in this fantasy world where he's soldier first class and he's badass and he's awesome, right? He created this sort of fantasy persona, fantasy self, to deny the reality of his mom dying, of Zack dying. So considering that Cloud has a history of doing this, consider what happens at the ending and move forward with that. Anyway, we'll talk about it when we get there. Let's keep it going.
But what will you do with it? Let's see. Let go of the past, Cloud. For the future is bright. We are to bear witness.
And you see, that's the opposite right there. Let go of the past, Cloud. That's not the answer. As we see from OG, the answer is for Cloud to confront his past, accept his mother's death, accept Zack's death, and then finally, maybe accept Aerith's death. But we'll get into that later. We are to bear witness to the reunion of worlds.
To the reunion.
Cloud hates failure too, absolutely.
Reunion.
Also, guys, I noticed this when I was watching it today. Can you guys take a look at this with me? This is freaking me out. Is that Yuffie? Am I bugging? Why is Yuffie in the cloak? I need somebody to confirm with me in the chat that I'm not crazy and that I'm not seeing Yuffie in the cloak. That's from the ship chapter 6. Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I forgot about that. Okay. That was Yuffie from the cruise. Okay, I completely forgot. That's why I'm glad you're here. That's why I'm glad that the chat is here. Because for a minute there, I was like, why is he seeing that? But thank you. Thank you. We'll keep it rolling. Oh, let's get it off half speed. Then he sees himself. Maybe you went too far.
Leave me out of it.
How very stubborn of you. Perhaps you need
a little push.
A little push.
So what's the push? Now remember what we were talking about earlier, right? Sephiroth taunts Cloud by saying he's hollow, he feels nothing, and Cloud as a response to that is always like anger, to prove like, well, if I have this anger, then I'm not hollow. It's sort of his response to that. That's why whenever he gets Cloud to react angrily, like earlier in the story where he stabs him, and he's like, very good, Cloud. Hold on to that hatred. You know, he's breeding that up in Cloud. Still wonder what the blessing and push actually is? We'll talk about it.
I give you my blessing.
Yeah, I think Nicholas is onto it there. All right, here we go. Here's where things get extra trippy. So it's implied that this is a sort of dream state. In a sense, he does end up landing, him and Aerith do end up landing in this mysterious forest, but everything that we're seeing take place, in theory, is taking place as the two of them are falling from the end of chapter 13.
Where am I?
That doesn't belong here.
Ha! There's the white materia.
Very poor form.
There's a whisper battle here that we can skip over.
Well,
here we go.
Meet again.
You're okay.
I want to say I absolutely adored this scene in the original, and I thought they really did it justice here in Rebirth. Obviously, the context is a little different, but kind of captures the same idea.
Sephiroth's here. I can feel it, watching us.
Yeah. But forget about him for now. Just focus on yourself, okay?
Yep.
But I'm fine.
No, you ain't. No, you ain't.
Focus on you, Cloud. The one I've been trying to find. The real you.
That is, I'm so glad, because in order to get that line, you had to take Aerith on the date in OG, but it's such an important line. Remember that line. Yeah. Yeah. We'll keep it going.
Huh?
Leave Sephiroth to me. I can handle him. He's planning to use the black materia, but I won't let that happen. He has to be stopped by a Cetra.
Oh, my bad.
And I'm the last.
It's gotta be her. So gives him the white materia. Give her the white materia. And she swaps it out and gives him this hollow one. Right? And hollow is a theme here,
Thanks for
right?
returning it to me, Cloud. I appreciate it. But now, it belongs with you.
Now, I don't know if she swapped it out or if she absorbed what was inside. That's will remain to be seen. But I think she swapped it out. That's how I see it.
Empty.
And she's gone.
Aerith?
And this part, I love and adore this part. Here. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Zack, cut that out. I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit, because what I thought was such a nice touch is this. This is a callback to when he was crawling after his mother in Nibelheim. It's a callback to that. Like, you guys, there's something that has to be addressed. So the whole reason this game happened and why it ended up the way it did is because Sakaguchi, who worked on the original Final Fantasy VII, lost his mother. So he wanted to create a game that sort of encompassed what he was feeling at the loss of his mother, which is why that's such a big theme in the game, whether it be Cloud and his mother, Aerith and her mother, the Mother Earth being in danger. You know, it's a very heavy theme. Now, to me, I always felt like Aerith's death was almost like a relapse to the death of his mother. Like, there's a lot of overlap there. They have the same killer. You know, he blames himself. So this sort of callback that he's crawling after Aerith the same way he did his mother in the burning Nibelheim, to me was so amazing. So amazing. Like, such a nice touch. Okay, here we go. Ugh. Yep, see, there they are. And this is how they landed. Crew comes and finds them. Aerith is okay. Cloud not so much. Keep it going. Let's take it to when Cloud wakes up. How's that?
Aerith.
That's when Aerith goes off. They lose her in the fog. Cloud wakes up. There's a few important conversation that takes place between the party here, so we're gonna let this roll.
Didn't know if it was Mako poisoning or the degradation, but I thought you were done for.
Sorry to disappoint.
Well, you can thank me for the ride later. Gotta find Aerith first.
She told us that an ancient city lies just beyond these woods, and that the Cetra built a very special altar there. That's where she's headed, I'm sure of it.
Problem is, Sephiroth stole the black materia, meaning he could destroy the entire planet any minute. And Aerith said she's the—
All right, let's move up a little bit. Let's move up a little bit. Soldier's intuition. There's this conversation with Yuffie, which is nice. Oh, actually, no, we definitely got to cover this.
So, Cloud, I heard something from Aerith. She said Sephiroth kicked the ever-living crap out of you back in the Temple of the Ancients.
You heard wrong. Didn't go down like that.
Okay.
Why is Aerith lying to the party? I think Aerith covered for him. Interesting cover. Interesting cover.
Then how exactly did he get the materia from you? You don't always have to play the badass, you know.
Alright, fine. You win. He beat the shit out of me and took the materia. It's my fault.
It's kind of mine too.
Let's move
By the way,
forward.
your eyes were didn't it?
More than one. Sent to another world.
Yeah, he mentions got sent to another world. Apparently, there's at least a few more than one.
Is that right?
I'd explain, but I don't think I can.
Heard about this mist.
There is.
Do you see them in it too? The whispers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you too there, Zane. That's one thing that throws me off a little bit. Is I could have sworn the party witnessed most of this. But anyway.
I'm afraid to say it, but if the whispers control fate,
then
does that mean we were destined to be separated from Aerith?
Maybe.
Tifa.
Thinking weird thoughts.
Basically saying make sure you talk to someone if you start going crazy. So let's move this forward a little bit. Let's move ourselves forward just a little bit. All right. We're making our way, guys.
That makes sense. Still, I'll do what I can to help, and we'll fry those fish together.
How long have we been running for? Oh, wow. Almost 2 hours. Okay. I think we could wrap this
The
out.
grand metropolis.
We got time.
Where the ancients once gathered to pray, thought lost to time.
Okay. We can skip over a bit of this. This is Temple of the Ancients. Let's move it up to here. How far in do we gotta go? Okay, let's maybe draw it back just a cinch. Yeah, we definitely gotta let Sephiroth appear. Because he's been giving us all the juice. Sephiroth's got all the juice, man. Sephiroth has all the juice. Think we're good with the 10 more seconds. Here we go.
I'm waiting, Cloud.
I think the whispers covered the view. Only Tifa knows what happened.
What is all this?
Man, these pre-rendered scenes are gorgeous. See, I feel like he's like flexing the black materia a little bit. But you see this? This is insane. This is insane. We have to draw that back. We have to draw that back. This looks exactly like when Sephiroth absorbed the whispers, but here it looks like he's absorbing Meteor.
Sephiroth.
Like, watch. There he is. And then these, like, entwine around Meteor and redirect it into Sephiroth.
Good, Aerith. Pray.
Crazy. So he wants this all to go down.
It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge.
And remember, guys, I think that has more to do with Cloud than the planet itself.
When spite and sorrow are harvested to feed the planet.
Okay. When spite and sorrow are harvested to see the planet. It makes you wonder, were all these little pocket worlds set up so that apocalypse, this like repeated apocalypse, would bring more sorrow, more despair? Because every new world that sprouted up as a result of all of this ended up blipping out of existence or meeting its apocalypse, which of course would come with its share of suffering and sorrow. It's almost as if they created a system that would continuously feed more suffer, more despair, more sorrow into the planet. So nuts. So nuts. Isn't it crazy the cutscenes of today look better than the Advent children of yesterday? It's remarkable. Okay, this is when the whispers, and remember, Sephiroth controls the whispers. Remember that. So what are the whispers doing here? They're blocking everyone from entering because Sephiroth only wants Cloud to enter. So let's move forward a little bit here.
Now.
Yep.
She needs you. Go.
And it's only when the deed is done that Sephiroth lets anybody else in. No one else was allowed in. It's about to go down.
O planet and its faithful steward.
I thought this was a very nice touch, by the way. Actually hearing Aerith's prayer. Really good because it let you on an insight to her character, how much she cares about all her friends, but that she never actually learned to pray like a Cetra. Ugh, I gotta stop doing that.
Please, lend me your strength. I know I'm doing this wrong.
Oh, the music's going hard. These visuals with the whispers.
They mean so much to me.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes a little bit. Bump us up 10, 15 seconds. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I have some thoughts about what we are about to see. Oh man, whatever happens, don't blame yourself. Whatever happens, don't blame yourself. Oh my lord. So he seemingly stops himself. Here he comes.
No!
Oh man. Oh, the suspense. Here we go. So obviously you see this sword. Now they're allowed in because the deed is done. The deed is done. They lead you with a little bit of hope. And down she goes. And there goes that white material we worked so hard to get in here. And away it goes. And now Cloud still has that hollow one. So yeah, she did swap it out.
Aerith!
Okay, so a few things. One, now we flash back and forth to a world with and without blood, as we see both worlds coincide with the two of them in this position. See, now he's laughing because he clearly got what he wanted here. Now, keep this in mind, guys. This is something we're not going to get to see until the next part, but you have to ask yourself, why do they keep cutting to Cloud and it looks like he's saying something, but we can't hear it? Take note of that. See, he's talking. We don't get to hear it.
Don't wait.
Talking, we don't get to hear it.
Your tears are empty.
Just like you.
Just like you.
Okay, it's time.
Wow. It's okay.
Okay, guys. It's time. It's time. You'll see what I mean. So yeah, they give you this, what I believe is a false sense of security, and I'll show you why. Keep in mind, hand on his face, just like that. Let's pull up another scene, why don't we? Let's go back to Remake for a second here. Okay? Let's go back to Remake for a second here. Let's turn this off and turn this on. Here we go. Oh, actually, I need to turn my monitor on. I can't hear it. Okay. You guys can hear it, though, right?
How is this?
Let me dial it back. Let me pull up the exact thing. Is this a dream? Let's see. Let's get to the part I want to get to. Everyone dies eventually. Okay. I didn't think it would be this far, so. Okay. There it is. Okay.
But whatever
happens, you can't fall in love with me. Okay. Let's pause. Whatever happens, you can't fall in love with me. Then what does she say?
Even if you think
you have, it's not real. Let's go back. So right as she says that, whatever happens, you can't fall in love with me. You guys seeing this the way I'm seeing it? Because whatever happens, it's not real.
Even if you think you have, it's not real.
Now, back to this. Oh, hold up. I see we've got ourselves a super chat from Josh Z. He says, Tifa is the most confusing part of this whole thing. We will certainly get into that and what she's able to see and not able to see. Okay. Oh, that's right. It's up here. Hand on the face and everything. But you see, like, and I've seen some people bring up the whole blood argument, but look at this. Barrett walks up, what does he see? I guess you could argue maybe there's some blood right here, but I don't think so. The blood is spilled towards the Masamune. And there's no blood on the hands, right? He sees Sephiroth, so we know Sephiroth's there.
I'll kill you!
Aerith!
So what do we see here? Pool of blood. And I don't think it's that Tifa sees both. I don't think that Tifa sees both. I think she simply just sees the dead Aerith, and it horrifies her. And what might be horrifying her further is Cloud's expression. We'll see. And so it begins. Check it out. A confluence of worlds. This is happening within Cloud. It's not about the physical planet, physical world. It's about the confluence of worlds within Cloud and emotions. Cloud is feeling both sadness and relief. Because on one end, Aerith is laying there dead. In another end, she's alive and in his arms. It's the confluence of worlds. A confluence of emotions. He's stirring up despair within the party. Like, it's... Okay, he'll say it. Sephiroth will say it. I don't need to say it.
And emotions. Loss, chief among them.
Loss, chief among them.
It engulfs fleeting moments of joy, transforming them into rage, sadness.
This is what he's been doing to Cloud the entire game. Oh, God.
Hatred. Never have I felt them so keenly.
See, like he's scared again.
I got this.
And, like, guys, like, here's the thing, like, so, one second. Like, guys, if Aerith was alive, he wouldn't have to, like, lay her back down on her back. Like, he'd be able to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't lay her down like she had died. Things would probably be a little different there. But I think most people understand she's not, like, alive. If anything, most charitably, she's alive in some alternate timeline. But I don't think that's what this is. And I'll get to that when we get there. And we're getting there. However, you'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes. Again, what does Cloud do? He denies death. He denies the death of his mother. He denies the death of Zack. And here he is, literally denying the death of Aerith. And Sephiroth is spelling it out to him. However, you'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes. The confluence of worlds, of emotions. But you'll never see the truth.
Such clouded eyes.
Shut up!
After all, you're just a puppet.
There's also Lifestream surrounding Aerith. Exactly. Because I think that's more accurate as to where she is. Okay, here comes the boss ladder. Which I will say, the boss ladder was fun, and those bosses were well designed. But I think the boss ladder lasted too long, because I almost forgot this is where they left me off. Anyway, let's move this forward. Everyone works together. Get them up on out of here. Let's let this roll. I don't know if there's anything too important here.
What now?
Okay, here we go. Lifestream white, back to Zack, who is following the yellow flowers.
White, as far as the eye can see.
Hey, anybody there?
Okay. Let me move this forward a little bit. Obviously, he finds Cloud, which is trippy. Let's take it from here. I expected this fight in part 3. Oh, this is just an appetizer.
Zack?
Okay. Take note. Actually, let's get a better view for what I'm about to talk about. 1 second.
How's about we save the catching up for later?
All right. They are at the edge of creation. And here's the thing, guys. I think the edge of creation is the most forward point in time. Like, I think in a sense, I'm not necessarily saying time is a flat circle in FF7. It might be the case. But I think the edge of creation is the furthest most point in time. And that's why we keep coming back here. Right? At the end of Remake, we came here to fight Sephiroth. Sephiroth fights us and he goes, not yet. Now, Zack and Cloud are here. I honestly think this is taking place at the most, like, furthest point in time imaginable. It's the edge of creation. So, let's let this go. See, he doesn't need the whispers. It's legit a repeat of Remake's fight.
Just as worlds unite,
Here we go.
so too do they part.
Just as worlds unite, so too do they part. So what does Sephiroth do here? So he splits this up. He splits the two of them up.
Cloud, save her!
Okay, let's bump this forward. So he splits the two of them up. Cloud and Sephiroth have their duel. This goes on a while, actually. We need to really jump forward here. And then the crew fights them. This is what I want to get into right here. So let's let this roll now. So clearly, guys, clearly Aerith is watching over him in some way. But I feel like the Aerith, or the version of her that's watching over him like this, is not the one we've been interacting with yet. This is why I'm a believer in some sort of future Aerith. Because again, you have this play on the edge of creation and like the furthest most point in time at Sephiroth with knowledge of future events pouring into the brains of our characters. I can't help but feel like Aerith is obviously watching over Zack in this way. It's obvious.
What in the hell?
Now, call me crazy, guys, but isn't where Zack is standing right now, isn't this reminiscent of where he fought Angeal?
What the hell is going on?
Is that not reminiscent of where he fought Angeal in Crisis Core? He fought Angeal here, now he's got to fight Sephiroth here.
Embrace your dreams. And whatever happens, protect your honor as a soldier.
In terms of lighting, but it's the church with meteor coming. Yeah, that's why the flowers are there.
Yeah, you feel that?
But that doesn't seem like the church from Midgard. Maybe we'll get to see it. Let me hop us in front. Okay. Actually, we'll let this roll. Now this is the Aerith, because to me, like, it's all one Aerith, don't get me wrong, but it's different points in time. To me, we're at the edge of creation, right? This is the furthest most point in time. To me, this is the Aerith who's been helping us. This is not the Aerith that's at the Forgotten Capital. This is not the Aerith that we've been traveling with, per se. I think this is her at the most future point in time. I can't find the right way to say that. And I think the final battle of the final game will take place at the edge of creation, and your party will be Cloud, Zack, Aerith. Now, let's get into this.
Let's end this. Together.
I must admit, I underestimated you.
So clearly he's talking to Aerith. What do I think he means by that? I think Aerith simply being able to make it to the edge of creation, for one. Two, I think it's the fact that Aerith is able to... I think he's recognizing that Aerith is playing the same game he is. The way Aerith is watching over Zack here, watching over Cloud there, the white whispers countering the black whispers. I think Sephiroth may not have known what these white whispers were, but upon Aerith's appearance, he now goes, oh, this has been you the whole time. And here I thought you were just falling for my trap. And yeah, Knoxville Gal, I have seen it. I was going to do a whole episode on it, but I'm so behind on podcast episodes, it'll be long gone by the time I'm ready for it. I have to admit, this is the worst part of the ending for me. Right here.
Why is he laughing?
Because he knows this isn't over.
I don't know, man. I may have to look into what the Japanese translation for that scene is. Because that just seems kind of lame to me. Oh, you're going to fight Sephiroth, and then at the end of the fight, he's just going to go fly away. Where's he going? Don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not complaining. I don't think it really takes anything away. But I think it was a soft punctuation on an hour and a half boss ladder. So here we go, back to the Lifestream. And Aerith is clearly going to take Cloud back to present day.
Ready?
There's a key moment here, by the way. And this is cute, then holding hands.
Everybody's waiting.
Take note of Aerith. If this was the Aerith in present day, then Aerith would have come with us. But whoever this Aerith is, she doesn't come with us. She fades back into the Lifestream. And if you watch as she fades, the color schemes of the Lifestream are the particles in which she fades into. So it's clear this Aerith, whoever she is, she goes back into the Lifestream while Cloud goes back to base reality. See, check it out. You can see it right there. Why didn't they both fade away like that? Only she fades away like that. Even her whispers are gone. All right, here we go. I guess this maybe looks like the church. It almost looks too crisp and clean, although I do recall seeing this stuff on the floor. Yeah, this is the church, isn't it? Yeah, I guess it just looked a little different.
We got him.
See, the white whispers are here.
Time to say goodbye.
This world is clearly ending, right? Now that collapses. And Aerith is taking Zack somewhere else. See? The white Lifestream, the white whispers were surrounding him. She's taking him somewhere else. Sephiroth and Aerith have been moving pieces on the board in this whole endgame. Aerith saved him 100%, Zane. 100%. And there she is. She's gone. She's gone. See, she was on her side for the party. Cloud sees the Aerith on her back the way he left her. Because Cloud will not accept what happened here. Just like he has trouble accepting it with his mom, has trouble accepting it with Zack. Because again, guys, before we continue, please remember, he is an unreliable narrator. I'm going to say it again. She's gone gaga. Yeah. He is an unreliable narrator. So if there are conflicting perceptions between Cloud and the party, we should take the party's perception as more reliable than Cloud's. If we get to the end of part 3 and Cloud was the one seeing the truth and Tifa, Barrett, Yuffie, Red, Sid, Vincent, they were the ones deluding themselves, it would be the biggest twist in the history of Square freaking Enix. If we get to the end of part 3 and Cloud was seeing the truth while the others were seeing a delusion or the fake, that's not where we're headed, guys. That's not where we're headed. Okay, he is an unreliable narrator who has a history of denying the truth of death, who has been falling into Sephiroth's hands this entire time, mind you. All of that said, if he is uniquely seeing this, I'm not saying you have to believe, I'm not saying you have to make your conclusions that it's real or fake. I'm just saying that you should not find his perception reliable. You shouldn't, because that's not, it would defy everything this character's been building towards to this moment. We'll keep this going. You'll see what I mean. And you notice the live stream is circling them? And no one else is around. No one else is around. The rest of this is so damn creepy. So true, Josh. Josh D with the super chat. Thank you, dude.
Aerith. Wake up.
Yeah, allow me to say, by the way, because I see you guys running on it in the chat, if Square Enix did pull that move and Cloud was the only one seeing the truth and everybody else saw fiction, delusions, yeah, I wouldn't like it. I don't think it would be good. I don't think it would work. But let's keep this going. Okay. Something has to be said. Something has to be said. Let's find a good place to pause. I think right here would be good. There's something you have to acknowledge with Rebirth. And that's that Rebirth is never giving you the full picture, guys. It never gives you the full picture. 1 second. 1 second. It's never giving you the full picture. I should have prepared this before, but that's okay. We can just do it now. We can just do it now. Let me get this going. There's an image I forgot to prepare for tonight's stream. I'm literally just getting it now, so bear with me. Anyway, as I was saying, Rebirth omits a lot of information from the audience. Keep in mind that we still have not seen the truth of the Nibelheim scene. Again, we have not. And that's the same as OG, by the way. That's not anything different. But when we went through the Nibelheim scene earlier in the story, earlier in the game, they omitted the very end from you, where Cloud stabs Sephiroth, everything, the whole ending, right? The whole ending and fallout of the Nibelheim incident was omitted from the audience in Rebirth because it's omitted from Cloud's brain. And this is all about putting you in Cloud's mind, making him more relatable. Do you know what else was omitted from Rebirth? Allow me to pull it up. Allow me to pull it up. We didn't get to see this. But this clearly happened, by the way. They're all sitting around the water, kind of saying goodbye. They're crying, sad faces, you know. This clearly happened. But they didn't show it to us. Why? They don't show us the end of the Nibelheim incident. And they don't show us the end of this. Of Aerith's little death scene. And what if I told you it's going to have something to do with this? Just like in the original game, Tifa and Cloud's dive into the Lifestream allowed us to get the full view of the Nibelheim incident. I believe this scene in the third game will not only focus on the Nibelheim incident, but will focus on Cloud accepting the truth of Aerith's death, particularly recalling his memories of this. Because this is too iconic and too beautiful to not redo. I have to be honest, with this whole section, this was the shot. I can't even point in the right direction. Where is it? This was the shot that I was looking forward to the most. I think this would look absolutely stunning in the modern graphics, modern aesthetic. And the fact that it was omitted has to be on purpose. So just like we didn't get to see the end of the Nibelheim incident, and we didn't get to see the conclusion of Aerith's death, that's going to happen in part 3 when we dive into the Lifestream. So, it could be one of the best scenes in FF history. Dex Holder, I still have some to cook. I've still got cooking to do. I have to wait till we get to the very end scene. But let's put these images away for now. They're going to come back. But I swear, we're gonna keep going. Let's let this roll. Because there's no way Square Enix would skip over that. There's no way Square Enix would skip over that particular scene of Cloud laying her into the water like that. All right, let's keep this going. Everybody's big sad. I get it. If I knew Aerith personally, I'd be a wreck too. Everybody's the big sad, as they should be. By the way, it's 11 o'clock at night where I am. I really appreciate everybody who's hanging out this late. Aerith's a big softie. He's crying. You love to see it. You see, they even show you the water like that, like she was just laid down there. Because her body's not around, guys. The body's not around. It's not like Aerith's body's just laying there. They clearly laid her into the water, but they didn't show it to us because they have to put you into the mind of Cloud Strife. That's what they're doing. They are the confluence of worlds. They're merging Cloud with the player in a sense, in the fact that we are going to operate under the same information that he is for the most part. We don't get to see the end of Nibelheim. We don't get to see the end of this, but we will in part 3. Keep it going. Hoo boy. It's been a wild night, guys. I appreciate you all hanging out. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Cloud's looking very stoic while everybody else is depressed. The big sad.
Can't stay here forever. We'd best get moving.
Yep. Sounds good.
Oh, that's like a twist of the knife, dude. See? Ah! Now this is something. Now, I know there's a popular theory going around out there. I know there's a popular theory that this isn't actually Aerith and that this is Jenova. Let me say this. If that's what they do, if this is not Aerith and this is actually Jenova appearing, those who love, those who fear. Like, if this is Jenova manifesting herself and appearing to Cloud before as Aerith, like, I have to be honest. I actually would love it. I think it's a good theory, but I ain't buying it. I don't think that's what's happening here. Again, I would love it. I think this being Jenova and a consequence of Jenova's work, I think that could be really cool. If they go in that direction, I'll be a happy camper. But I don't think they're going there. Because that would be insane and would drive a lot of people crazy. And Square Enix does have the fans in mind. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent here. I want to bring it back in. So I don't deny the possibility this could be Jenova. I don't think that's what they're doing. Square Enix, in a sense, has dulled a lot of the sharp edges of FF7. Allow me to say, Rebirth is one of my favorite games ever. I'm not hating on it here. But a lot of the sharper edges got dulled, right? Cid is a good example. Cid was much different in the original, and they completely softened him now. In the original, Dyne commits suicide. They've softened that blow here. Now, the scene tore me apart, don't get me wrong, especially those of you who watch the stream, you know I was a wreck. But Dyne doesn't kill himself, he dies by other means. So a lot of those like heavier, darker things have been softened a bit. Now, I don't think they'd go so far as to make this Aerith Jenova. I just don't think they'd go that far. I would love it. Please let me make that clear. I don't think they're going to do it. I think this is Aerith. And I think that Aerith is recognizing that Cloud is having a problem coping. Where's all this going? I'll get into it soon. For the love of Minerva, I got to let this end. Cloud is very out of sync with the party. This is what I mean, guys. The confluence of worlds was about Cloud. Cloud is living in these two worlds. He's living in the world with the party where Aerith died, and he's living in this world where he can still see and interact with Aerith. To me, what that says is that he is not coping with her death well. That he, like the deaths that came before her, is denying her death. And honestly, seeing Zack at the end of this chapter, if anything, would give credence to his doubt. But let's let this keep going. We got to get to the end here. Poor Tifa. Poor Tifa.
Tifa. Come on.
Now see, Tifa cannot see Aerith. They make it clear. She can't see him. See her. Only Cloud can see her. Just reinforcing it to the audience. Zane, I'm more in line with you, Zane. I'm more in line with you. Right there. But here's Rufus and Glenn. Again, guys, a lot of this is pretty on the nose, for lack of a better term. Like, I don't want to talk about this too much because it's obviously Glenn is also under Jenova possession or is under Jenova's influence, hence his manifestation of Sephiroth. Obviously, Rufus and Glenn have a history. But this isn't Glenn. This is an imitation of Glenn. Is the real Glenn out there somewhere? We'll see. But I don't want to talk about that too much just because it's all obviously ambiguous. And until we get to the end of First Soldier, we're not going to know entirely what that scene means just yet. So we got to wait. We got to wait. Again, keep going. Keep it going. So here are the weapons. The weapons are waking up, getting us ready for part 3. Getting us ready for part 3. Obviously, Sephiroth and the Whispers seem to... Ooh. Were they trying to stop them? Peculiar. Here's the fun part. So... stop doing that. We saw Zack fall into the white void, and he landed here in the church.
Did I?
Now, if I look around... I've done this before. I'm trying to look for any tells of what world we're in. A stamp or something. But they don't give it to you. They want to keep it ambiguous where exactly Zack is.
Nah. I couldn't have dreamt that. It all felt way too real. Just as worlds unite,
so too do they part. Ready?
who's to say they can't unite again?
Okay, gang. I think Zack might be in our world. Like, here, let's go over that again, right? Let's go over those lines of dialogue again. Just as worlds unite, so too do they part. And then what does he say?
But who's
to say they can't unite again? So as we saw, they were at the edge of creation. Sephiroth separated the two of them, separated the two worlds in a sense. And maybe as that world came to an end, right? The world Zack fell to, Meteor came and destroyed it. Aerith brought him to another world. It makes you wonder, was Zack brought to the Prime Line? Was he brought to the Prime Line? Who's to say they can't unite again? Maybe that's what's happened. Now, obviously, he's talking about Cloud. He's obviously talking about Cloud. Because that's when Sephiroth said the line, when him and Cloud were together. And then he separated them, separated the two worlds. But who's to say they can't unite again? What if that's what this is? What if he got pulled into the Prime Line? Who knows? Let's keep this going.
Say they can't unite again.
Okay, they're all headed for Shinra Manor. From the looks of it. Okay, here we go. Here's the wild stuff. Oh, yeah, Zack. I think Zack's going to be a major part of Part 3. I think Zack's going to be a major part of Part 3. Like, bigger than he was in Rebirth. I think Zack's role will be bigger in Part 3 than in Part 2. 100%. 100%. I think there's a chance he's in this world. I don't know for sure. But I think there's a chance he's in this world, guys. I give it a 50-50 chance. Wait, did we get to see the sky? Hold on. We might be able to know. Did we get to see the sky in Zack's world? But it only looks that way through Cloud's eyes, so never mind. Keep this going. You think that intermission epilogue is a Part 3 scene? It's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think so. I have to be honest. I think that Part 3 scene got scrapped. I think whatever they initially had planned, they scrapped. But who knows? Maybe it is a Part 3 scene. Because it doesn't fit into Rebirth. I will say that scene does not fit into Rebirth.
Can you not raise it just a wee bit higher?
Screw you.
And he's looking at the hollow materia.
Oh, shit.
Nice catch.
So, what Aerith actually do anyway?
See, they're making it clear the party can't see Aerith, right?
Well, and with that, we are cleared for takeoff.
Finally.
Poor Yuffie. She's just a kid, man.
It's not fair.
And she's not the first one she's lost either. And poor Tifa. Now, here's the thing.
Aerith?
So, Red is able to sense Aerith because he has the ability to interface with the Lifestream, right? In the way that an Ancient does, in the way a Cetra does. So, Red has this ability to interface with the Lifestream. It's very obvious Aerith is not physically there. Otherwise, Tifa wouldn't be crying. Yuffie wouldn't be good. They'd see her. But since we know Nanaki, which I wish they'd start putting Nanaki instead of Red 13. Nanaki can interface with the Lifestream. So, if he's able to sense Aerith, where what does that clue you in as to where Aerith could be? The Lifestream, which is where she was in Advent Children. Now let's keep this going, because I think there's more evidence to suggest that that could be where this Aerith is stemming from. And again, we've established that all these pocket worlds, all these new worlds that sprung up, were all connected to one singular Lifestream. Again, we went over this. That's why Rebirth is not a multiverse. That's why it's not multiple timelines in the traditional sense, right? Because then you'd have multiple planets, multiple Lifestreams. We've been over it. But you have this one singular Lifestream that Nanaki is able to interface with, that we know Aerith can interface with and ends up within, and Nanaki is able to sense her. Now, keep that Lifestream idea in mind as we move forward, because we're getting to it. She's not physically there. You know what I mean? So good, so good. I'm probably going to get fucking demonetized because of this part, but I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. That's why my ass has a day job. All right. So the white, that's what's crazy too. I think that hollow materia is really going to come into play. That hollow materia is really going to come into play. I think when Cloud emerges from the Lifestream, that materia will get its glow back. When Cloud gets his memories back, and he's no longer hollow, that materia will get its glow back. The black materia. He still got it. Oh boy.
The reunion.
Hey, you coming or what?
Yeah, one sec.
Oh! Not good. Not good, Cloudy boy. Not good, brother. Not good.
You have to promise not to look up.
You have to okay, so here we go, guys. You ready for I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna cook. I might burn the food, but I'm gonna cook. Okay. So let's keep some actually let's let this play out for a second and then I'll come back to it.
Don't look up.
Well, now I gotta look.
Okay, so remember we were talking about earlier. Unreliable narrator. When compared with more reliable characters, we should bank on the perception of those characters as opposed to the perception of the unreliable narrator. Now, as we see, Barrett, Tifa, and the party, they see a normal sky. Cloud, however, he sees this sky with a ripple, which tells you Cloud is both in the world with the party and in some sort of world of his own. As Sephiroth mentioned, the confluence of worlds. It has successfully happened within Cloud. He is, in a sense, living in two worlds at once. Not physically, mentally, perceptively, right? It's important to remember that. Not physically, mentally, and perceptively. The confluence of worlds has now happened inside Cloud. That's why, again, he's in both this blue sky world and fractal sky world. Now, this fractal sky, which indicates that the world is ending soon, but it indicates the world is ending soon in those pocket dimensions that were, in a sense, created by the Lifestream. Now, what happens when those pocket dimensions fade away? They fade back into the Lifestream. So seeing this ripple in the sky is almost an indicator that you are within the Lifestream, A, and B, that's where you're headed. That's why you know the end of the world is coming, because it's a sign. So let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. Let's make this a little smaller. Oh, come on. Make that a little smaller. And let's put that up top. I think that's a good place for it. Let's put this up top. So, in the original, when you go into the Lifestream, this ripple is there. So this ripple, in a sense, is a sign that you are within the Lifestream. And based on what Sephiroth was telling us before, these worlds that were all accepting their fate, accepting their end, and met their end, would It's not a death, it's a homecoming. They would fade back into the life stream. So this ripple and the life stream have a very obvious connection. And what we also learn now is, like I brought up and explained numerous times, just going to explain it again, is that it's all one life stream. It's all one congruent, I don't think that's the right word, one life stream. And these new worlds that were set up all branched off this one same life stream, right? It's not multiple planets, multiple life streams, multiple timelines. It's one timeline, one planet, one life stream, but due to the severing off from fate on that one planet timeline life stream, multiple worlds have emerged. But due to the disordinate of those worlds, as Sephiroth called them, the errant worlds which are fractured much like Genova to be symbolically, have a symbolic pattern, they all end up in the life stream. It's all a consequence of that one life stream. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. Let me bring this back. This secondary world, let's say, to me, is the life stream, just like those other worlds. That's why he's able to see Aerith. That's why that ripple in the sky is there. That's why we see it in OG. That's why we see it here. Cloud is the only one perceiving this. Now, the ripple... Okay, I'm going to try and flesh this out as best I can. Do recall that the world we woke up in at the start of Chapter 14 was seemingly a world of Aerith's dreams, for lack of a better term, right? Just play along. It's a world of Aerith's dreams. A quick little fantasy of hers where she could run around with Cloud and have that first date that she promised him. Oh boy, here we go. Next. Perhaps this world where Cloud can still talk with Aerith is Cloud's version of that. He doesn't want to accept that Aerith died. Therefore, this world has been set up to allow him to cope. Now, with this ripple in the sky, what's the foreshadowing telling us? That this world, where Cloud is able to communicate with Aerith, will soon come to an end. There's no ripple in the sky in base reality with the rest of the party. That world is still okay, good to go. But this world, this confluence of worlds, this overlapping perceptive world that Cloud is now experiencing is going to end soon. Let's get to the end. And then I have two theories I want to share. We've analyzed and broken down a lot of this. Let's get to the finish line. And then before we wrap up today, I see we're at 2 hours and 45 minutes. Before we wrap up today, I'm going to flesh out a couple theories I got. But let's bring this to an end.
Don't look up.
Well, now I gotta look.
Fine, but don't let it get to you.
Don't let what get to me?
It's not real. Just an illusion. Now let's go get Sephiroth. He's hiding up north.
And I did catch that, Crazy Comics. I just saw your comment now.
Trust me, he is. Soldier's intuition.
Oh, yeah? Better hope you're right.
I love this. That Barrett's groan and look of disapproval at Tifa. Because you got to understand something. Tifa, in a lot of ways, is kind of like the arbiter of truth. She's the one character who knows the truth. Let's go again. So Cloud thinks the party can see the terror in the sky. Cloud's brain is scrambled eggs.
Right.
Who knows what the hell he's thinking at this point?
We trust you. Just remember, we got everything riding on this. And that's a load you'd best be ready to carry.
No heavy load. We're close to capacity as it is.
Like, at least Sid is funny. We'll give Sid that.
Don't worry about me. I can handle it.
Can you? He keeps looking at Tifa. He's like, Tifa, you gotta say something. Like, his kind of look is like, how long are you going to let this keep going on, Tifa? Barrett knows she's the only one who can get through to him.
You gonna be okay getting back?
And if I said I wasn't? Don't worry. It's like a second home.
So when she says that, it's like a second home. I don't know if she means the Forgotten Capital and that she's going to basically hang there because that's what they're right outside of, or if she means this confluence of worlds that Cloud is able to perceive, which again, let's remember, all these pocket dimensions that popped up all exist within the Lifestream. This world Cloud is perceiving is no different. Let's let it keep rolling.
I guess. But what if something happens?
Then I'll send up smoke.
Thanks.
And
I'll
that's
keep
what
an eye
leads me to believe. That's what leads me to believe she's going to be at the Forgotten Capital. Unless she meant metaphorically. Second home equals homecoming. Yeah, it lands! Now, the Lifestream. It's not a death, it's a homecoming. She went back home. Lands! 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 Keep it going.
Out.
But that's where you're right, Zane. That's where you're right in the sense that Cloud obviously doesn't think she means the Lifestream. To me, I think that's more indicative of the Forgotten Capital. Setting up smoke is what Rosen said in First Soldier. Ooh, that's a good catch. But
I'll put everything I've got into my prayers. I'll stop the meteor. And I'll leave the rest to you. Good luck.
Aerith. I will stop Sephiroth. Trust me.
You promise?
Promise.
here's the other thing, guys. Take note of Aerith's final words or word in this game. Aerith had the last word in Remake. She gets the last word in Rebirth. Check this out. Listen to her final word, which I think is indicative of what actually happened. Oh God, I got to talk over it because this is a copyrighted song, so don't mind me. I'm just going to talk over it even though this is going on. Don't mind me, guys. Just really trying to avoid the YouTube police. I don't want to get copyright strike by Square Enix. Please listen to Aerith's final word as she says it right now. Please say it right now, Aerith. Please say it right now, Aerith. Please say it right now, Aerith. Please. Please. Oh God, you're leaving me hanging. Please, Aerith. Say it.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Okay, let's pause that. Let's pause that. Apparently in Japanese, it's even more clear. I believe it. All right, guys. So it's been about 3 hours. We've pretty much gone through and broken down almost pretty much that entire ending, the whole final last 90 minutes. But goodbye are her final words. That's very poignant, guys. She's Gungaga. Aerith is Gungaga. She's going to be in part 3. If you love Aerith, don't worry. She's going to be in part 3. But she's Gungaga, bro. Josh with another $5 super chat says, Landy, at the end, the weapons are protecting Tifa and Cloud's childhood memories. It's hard to spot, but it's there. You know, as we do our little theory roll, I may have to look into that. Excuse me. Okay. Let's get back to right about here. Let's dial it back. I want to talk about this again for a minute. Let's take this back. Come on. Come on. Also, the fact that he says about the sky, it's not real, just an illusion, buddy, I don't think you should be the lecturer here. The irony that he perceives it that way. But anyway, let's get back to this. Again, him saying, oh, it's just an illusion. Buddy, that whole world you've made is an illusion. Anyway, let's do this, guys. All right. Let's get this live stream pulled up. And let me get, is this the image? Perfect. I'd like to make this smaller too. Yeah, maybe we can put you up here. Let's try to make this neat. Okay. All right, guys. So check this out. Here's a theory I have. I think, you know, as you see it, we've talked about numerous times here, this ripple that we see it in the live stream in OG. And we see it in all the worlds that popped up and faded away. Telling us that all those worlds that existed are a consequence of the live stream and exist within the live stream. What it appears that Sephiroth has successfully done is achieve the confluence of worlds within Cloud. Now, what the world what that second world is, we don't know. It could be a whole other world, or it could simply just be the live stream itself, and that Sephiroth found a way to converge the two. But I'm more partial to the explanation I brought up before, that in the way Aerith kind of had her little dream world, as a result of that, this is sort of Cloud's response to that. But anyway, I've already been over that. Here's my theory. The whole scene with Tifa and Cloud in the live stream, in the original, will be the biggest scene in the entire trilogy, and it won't just be Tifa in the live stream. It's going to be Aerith as well. Both Tifa and Aerith are going to walk Cloud through this. Why? Because Tifa has to be there for him to accept the truth about Nibelheim. And then Aerith has to be there for him to accept the truth about, well, Aerith. And I think that scene in the live stream is where we're finally going to see the full scope view of Nibelheim, which we were denied in this game, and the full scope view of Aerith's death, which we were denied in this game. Because again, we did not get to see the scene of Cloud laying her into the water, and these developers are definitely not going to skip out on that scene. It's one of the most beautiful scenes. Anyway, Adonai, it's good to see you. Part 3, it'll involve the both of them going with Cloud into the live stream, because that's where they went, into the live stream, right? And we're seeing this here. Cloud's going to have to let Aerith go right there. That's what's going to make it hurt. Is that Cloud is going to have to finally accept the death of his mother, the death of Zack, the death of Aerith. This scene with Tifa going into the live stream will involve that. And before I brought up that Tifa's going to help him with the Nibelheim incident and Aerith's death, but I think there's a good shot that Aerith is there as well, because she's within the live stream, seemingly. And since she's already there, she can manifest for that moment and maybe help Cloud cope with the fact that she's gone gaga. That's one theory I have. I have another theory. One that I don't think people are going to like. But let's get to a little scene not too long ago. It's a little bit before. So we talk about Cloud getting the full scope view on Aerith's death. Here's my, perhaps Zack will be there too. Perhaps. I want to get a good shot. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about it. I honestly think they should keep it between Tifa and Cloud. I think so too, but I'm trying to predict what they're going for. Like Zane, if it were up to me, I agree with you. And that's what I'll be hoping for. But I'll tell you why I think Aerith has to be there. Guys, I think there's a chance Cloud did it. He's an unreliable narrator. His perceptions can't be trusted. I think there's a chance Cloud did it. Why do I think so? For one, Aerith said multiple times to him something along the lines of, whatever happens, don't blame yourself. Right? Whatever happens, don't blame yourself. Now, no matter what exactly lands, exactly. Now, the rest of the party didn't see it. The rest of the party did not see this. They arrived, Aerith was already dead, they don't know how. And maybe that explains Tifa's reaction. Why Tifa has that very odd reaction when she sees the scene. Maybe she has a clue of what happened. Because remember, there's blood on Cloud's hand too. There's something else. I'm trying to remember. I should have taken a note of it. When we were going through it, I saw something that like Sephiroth said or something. But he's clearly possessed, right? With the whole black materia thing, Genova, Sephiroth. It's not a surprise that he's capable of doing something like this. I mean, he swung at Tifa earlier in the game. Again, because we never actually see Sephiroth do it. You know what I mean? We see the blood on the Masamune, right? But we never actually get to see it. There is the part of me that's wondering and theorizing that maybe Cloud did it. So what was the live stream that came out of the Buster Sword and the Rainbow afterwards? Zane, to me, that's the confluence of worlds. That's what happens when a new little world is born. Just like when Zack made the decision to go after Cloud, boom, you saw that rainbow pop up and it birthed the Biggs world. It's possible this was born as a result of that. Dexter says, nah, I don't think so because the cut would be different. Let's get to the cut then. Let's investigate. Let's investigate. So he seemingly stops himself. That's what Sephiroth says. Fine, I'll do it myself. Cloud tries to stop him. I actually think we need to skip long ahead before we can get to any of this. 1 second. That's the other thing too, guys, is like, hold on. What is Cloud saying? This is the other thing that has me wondering that there's something we're missing. Because guys, like, Cloud is saying something, but they don't want us, the audience, to know about it. Why? What could he be saying that they have to omit from us? Oh, stop doing that. Like, watch. See, every time they do these cuts, he's talking. He's talking, but we don't get to hear him. See that?
Don't wait.
His speech, you think this is the Aerith will no longer talk, laugh, cry? That's what you guys think this is? Aerith will no longer talk, no longer cry. What about my pain? Yeah, it could be the speech from OG. I would like that. I would like that. I think that's more than possible. And considering how plausible that is, let's move on to something else.
I'll kill you!
A lot of you bring up Tifa in particular, right? And they're deliberately show, like, guys, there's something to be said, right? The blood, you know the phrase, the blood's on your hands? The blood is literally on Cloud's hands. They're not on Aerith's hands. They're not on Sephiroth's hands. The blood is on Cloud's hand. And again, I'm not saying this is fact. We're out of analysis and breakdown. Let me be clear. We're out of analysis and breakdown, and we're closing this out with just a couple theories. I talked about the live stream scene, the ripple, what I think this whole thing is. We're in theory mode. The blood is on Cloud's hand. And Tifa's terrified. She freezes in her tracks.
A confluence of worlds and emotion.
And again, this moment is key for what the confluence of worlds, right? That's why I really think all of this, that Aerith, again, not for a cope, guys. Look, I hate to say it. People could come after me when the truth finally comes out if it turns out I was wrong. Guys, Aerith is not alive. Aerith is not alive. Aerith is not alive. Not in the traditional sense. It's very clear she's dead here. And especially with the ending, right? It's not a happy ending, right? Cloud put the black materia in his Buster Sword. He's seeing a sky nobody else can see. He's not mourning Aerith's death the same way everybody else is. This is not a happy situation. This is not a, yay, Aerith survived. She's just in some other world. No, that is not the tone. The tone is things are fucked up. Things are really fucked up. Cloud seeing a sky nobody can see. Cloud seeing an Aerith nobody can see. It's not, the black materia's in the sword. It's not a happy ending. Ooh, and yes, it could be simple. Guys, the blood on his hand could be as simple as he picked up Aerith, and that's where he got the blood. But I'm more just talking about Aerith in general now. She's not alive, guys. I sometimes want to like scream it, but it's like she's not alive. She'll be in part 3. She's going to be in plenty of cutscenes. She's going to interact. She's alive in a very powerful sense, in the sense that she's one with the Lifestream and can manifest, and she lives on in Cloud's consciousness. All these things are true. But Aerith herself is gone, guys. Gone gaga. Because again, this ending is not happy. It's not, we saved Aerith. Hooray, she's in some other world. No, this other world is an illusion. It's a delusion of Clouds, the unreliable narrator. He is not the perception we are supposed to trust. He's the unreliable one. His perceptions are unreliable. So, I believe the confluence of worlds happened right in this moment. The confluence of world and emotions is a result of Cloud being in denial, because he has a history of doing that. At the core of his psychosis is his denial of the death of loved ones. Why are we going to think anything's different? I am curious about the world where he succeeded in saving her, and if we will revisit that in part 3. Miyu, that I might be being a bit semantic about the language, but like there is no world where he succeeded. She's dead. She's dead. The rest of the party can't see her. Cloud can see her because he can see the ripple in the sky, which indicates either in the Lifestream or temporary world. So the quote-unquote world she's alive in is a delusion or a dream of Cloud's. Because again, if Aerith survived, guys, literally survived, the ending would have a much brighter tone to its ending. But the ending is very clear. The whole ending of this game, especially with Barret and Tifa, is realizing that Cloud is nuts and that he's gone nuts. And that's why Barret is looking at Tifa, say like, hey, like saying things to him, saying things to Cloud, like, that's a load you best be ready to carry. And why he's looking at Tifa like, hey, are you going to say something? We're losing him here. He gave Sephiroth the black materia, right? We watched him almost try to kill Aerith. Cloud is going crazy. So when we, the audience, see he can still see Aerith, that's not a victorious thing. That's something that should worry us. Josh D says, that's why I don't think she should appear in his Lifestream, because she is dead. But that's the thing. She was able to do that in Advent Children. She was able to interface with him in Advent Children through the Lifestream. She's always been able to do that. Excuse me. I'm Cloud, master of my own illusionary world. Yeah, that's it. I thought they don't see him trying not to kill Aerith this time. They don't. Did I say they did? Maybe I used a poor choice of words. But no, they did not see him try to do that. I'm saying we, the audience, got to see that. We, the audience, got to see him do that. So, like, we, the audience, we're looking at Cloud and should be worried about him. He put the black materia in the Buster Sword. He's headed straight for the northern crater, probably to give Sephiroth the black materia all over again. The omens are not good. They're bad omens. The game ends with Aerith saying goodbye. Anyway. So, again, I could be wrong. We'll see what transpires in the future. I understand that in some ways my perceptions and analysis of all of this can be unconventional, but I guess I'll cap it off like this. Where are we? How far along are we? 3 hours and 8 minutes. Let's cap it off like this. What do you guys say? I know, but I mean she should not be helping him to get past it. I think she doesn't have a choice. I think they have to try and lay him down easy. That's why I feel like she's going to be a part of that Lifestream scene. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I see what you mean. But that's also the thing is like, Aerith does live on within Cloud. That was true in Advent Children. It's true here. So, it's no wonder she's able to manifest herself to him. But let's cap it off like this. This is not a multiverse. If you want to see what a multiverse looks like, go see Spider-Man. What's the name of the movie? The Spider-Verse. God, I actually really liked the movie. Why can't I remember it? Anyway, there's this Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna get this fucking right. 1 second. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's it. You want to see what a multiverse looks like? Into the Spider-Verse is what a multiverse looks like. That's not what we have here. You want to know what multiple timelines looks like? Go look at DC Comics, Marvel Comics, right? Where they have multiple timelines. You know? I didn't see Loki, but like the Loki variants are a good example of that. So if we had multiverses and multiple timelines, there would be these, how do I put it? It's like I said earlier, I'd just be repeating myself, but I guess in a sense that's what I'm signing up to do here. If it was a multiverse or multiple timelines, then there would be multiple life streams and multiple planets. But that's not what we have. Sephiroth makes it very clear all those worlds exist on one planet, one life stream, which means it's one reality, one timeline, one universe. Now, are they pocket dimensions, pocket worlds that blip in and out of existence? Yes. Can timeline be a more lackadaisical term to explain that? Yes. But I do think it's important to try and differentiate the difference between what's going on here in FF7 and what's going on in like DC Comics and Into the Spider-Verse. Because all three of those are very different. Now, with the question of Aerith in our world, dead. Dead. Now, as we know, Aerith has ways of living on through the life stream. In Cloud's consciousness, she's able to manifest herself to him. We see it in Advent Children. In the final scene of the Advent Children movie, Cloud's the only one who can see Zack and Aerith. So this isn't anything new. But while Aerith is Gungaga, she still lives on within Cloud and within his dream, within this confluence of worlds that he has ended up in, because he sees the fractured sky, which is indicative of the life stream and is also indicative of these pocket worlds, which are soon coming to an end. So this little world where Aerith can now live is coming to an end, hence the ripple in the sky. That said, oh boy. Red says, we also would be seeing the characters still fighting against Fate and winning, yet it's only a matter of time before Fate catches up with Biggs and Aerith. That's the thing too. We also saw that Fate has a twisted sense of humor, as Zack says. The same fate still came for Biggs. The same fate still came for Zack, and the same fate still came for Aerith. So that means, as the developers have told us, by the end of this trilogy, it's going to be able to line up with Advent Children. So, let's wrap this up here. Zane says, on a side note, excuse me, I have to burp. On a side note, just wanted to mention how nice it is to have these conversations with you all. Don't have many friends in real life who are into this stuff. Appreciate you, Landy, and everyone. Zane, that's exactly why I started this channel. I love Final Fantasy. I love Kingdom Hearts. I love RPGs, particularly ones from Japan. And, you know, with Stellar Blade coming out, maybe Korea too. But the whole reason I started this channel is because I didn't have anyone to talk to about this stuff with. Like, my friends aren't really into it, but they do casually. Like, I've got friends who will casually play Final Fantasy, casually play Kingdom Hearts. So they're not lore junkies like I am. I could talk to my wife about this a great deal. But she's not as much of a lore junkie as I am, obviously. But here in this channel, here in this chat with you sickos and normies, I'm hanging out with all the lore junkies. I'm hanging out with the 1% of the Final Fantasy community, the 1% of the Kingdom Hearts community. And I like that, you know, this podcast has become a platform to have very civil conversations about this all. You know? Because I've seen a lot of the public discourse on the internet about this game get pretty ugly and annoying. Lance says that's what's so awesome about this space. It really is. Guys, listen, the internet, social media, it's what you make of it. It's what you make of it. Just be careful what you allow to grace your earlobes and your eyeballs. Where you choose to spend your attention is the most valuable. It's the most valuable vote you have. You vote with your eyeballs. Like, I'm getting really existential. This is a Final Fantasy VII podcast. We could talk about shit like that another time. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. It's been a good podcast. I hope that this was enlightening, informative for everybody. I hope that, you know, whether my perceptions end up being correct or wrong remains to be seen. But I will say, you can go back and look at all my remake predictions and theories. I've got a good track record, man. I've got myself a pretty good track record here. So, look, let's wrap it up here. Guys, this was amazing. I had so much fun. Lance, a lot of love to you, Lance. First of all, for modding it up. Lance, thank you for modding the FF7 streams, particularly our finale stream, keeping any spoilers from hitting my eyes. Lance, thanks for texting me about FF7. I've been able to iron out a lot of my ideas. Actually, let me look at our text conversation. Make sure I didn't leave any of that out. I actually think I did. No, I didn't. Oh, no. We talked about everything. Okay. Shout out to Andy for the raid. Shout out to Peasus for the raid. And shout out to Josh Z for gracing us with about $20 worth of super chats, man. Thank you. And thank you for your support. Honestly, all you guys are great. Okay. Let's wrap this up. How are we doing on Twitch? All right, we're just going to wrap this up. It was a pleasure listening in, Landy. Thank you for the great analysis. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. We're going to wrap it up here. It's time for your boy to get some sleep. I've got a Kingdom Hearts video dropping tomorrow about the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1 and why I think it's so magical in particular. And then Sunday, well, if you make it this far in the podcast, you always get a little treat. Sunday, Empowered Muse will be coming back onto the podcast to discuss Ventus. And then within the next week or two, guys, I'm planning to make a bunch of Rebirth content. I don't want to make any yet because I know a lot of people are still playing through it, and I don't want even the minorest of spoilers getting out. But the next week or two, a lot of Rebirth content is coming out. I'm going to put together a whole video explaining my perception of these other worlds and how it's not a multiverse, not an alternate timeline, things like that. So you can expect that soon. But I'm rambling. I'm going to close this out. Guys, I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. You know, I'm getting settled in my new home, so you can expect a lot more content than you've gotten in the last month. You can expect more videos, more podcasts, more streams. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for hanging out, sickos and normies. Hope you had a good time. Zeb, I see you there, brother. Josh, I see you too. And we Swind and Crazy Comics over on Twitch. Why can't I end this episode? Good night, Zane. Hope everyone's well.